in our first item on the agenda, we do have an approval not required plan.
Paula, can I start? I don't know if you saw the revised Dropbox link, but one of the ones on Ashby State Road, Ashby West Road, sorry, is being withdrawn.
Mhm.
So
We
there
have one.
there was a revised Dropbox around 5 this evening.
All right. So what we do have is at least one A&R for our 134 Crawford Street.
Correct.
Show my screen here if this works. All right, waiting to view Tom's screen. Tom, can you give me permission?
That would be me. I
Oh,
can.
Mike.
Wait. No. Wait. Okay. Oh, I do it by clicking on your name, Paula. Dang it. Paula, sure, if you're an organizer, can't you?
I'm clicking show my screen. Here we go. Now, just turned on.
Okay,
Here we go.
there we go.
So here we go. Application. Actually, I think it's the next one. That's the application. Can you just verify the applicant's all set with the tax compliance certificate?
Yes, I scanned that. It's in the updated Dropbox. I'll get that on my screen so you can share mine.
Come on. Just open it now. There we go. All right. So we have on Crawford Street, and it looks like a transfer of parcels.
Right. Let me see if Megan is here in attendees.
Oh, wait a minute. Excuse me. Is
Yes,
this,
Oh, right.
let me recuse myself. Apologies.
So noted, Laura.
All right. I'm going to mute.
There we go. Okay. I'm sorry, Megan. You're not, just turn on your mic, Megan. The green button, rather.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's
Here we
it.
go. Yes, we can.
I'm not the applicant for this. I'm just part of the process, I should say. Excuse me. Greco Alonso is purchasing 3.61 acres from the FRA, and that is delineated in parcel A. And also, I don't know if this is part of the application because I didn't see it, but the 120 feet right where whoever Mike is circling right there, that is being given to the FRA in return for
This parcel.
Yep.
All right.
So just we're in the next steps of doing the A&R now.
Okay. Does any board members have any questions?
Oh, it looks good.
Sorry to put you on the spot, Megan.
Oh,
I
that's
don't
no
see
problem.
anyone. I don't see Greco or any of the guys from Hannigan here at the moment.
That's okay. It's just an A&R, pretty much is frontage. So as long as it's like which pretty says its endorsement shall not be deemed to constitute any determination of compliance, we're good.
And for the board members and the public out there, Ms. O'Kane needed to recuse herself from this particular item because the redevelopment authority on whose board she sits is in a butter to this, so she cannot be around for this item.
And we're also selling the property to, the FRA is selling the property to
Mhm.
Greco Alonso, yeah.
Got it.
Okay. All right, again, so this is not a public hearing for an A&R, and any questions for the board? Again, we just have a determination whether or not there's adequate frontage and there's access to the frontage, to the buildable portion of the lot.
Correct.
And that being said, if there's no questions, we can take a roll call for approval. Those in favor say aye, those not in favor, they're not in favor. So we have Lynn,
Aye.
Alex,
Aye.
Amanda,
Aye.
no Laura, Peter,
Aye.
and Paula, aye. Okay, this is pretty much permission for Mike to sign the A&R in our stead. We have that one.
Thank you, everyone.
Welcome.
Very welcome.
Our next item, and I guess Laura can stay recused because it's has to do with River Styx, which is also, the building is owned by the FRA. Is the applicant here? Or I know Megan's here.
I am not seeing Jackie or Scott's listed on the attendees.
We have a letter from the FRA, and then we have the site plan. So we have, this was just submitted
Mm-hmm.
to
I'm
approval.
sorry for the late.
Is Megan, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm very sorry for being so
Okay,
late.
that's okay. That's all right. We got the letter, so we see the board is still allowing the approval for River Styx to keep the area. And you're reserving a condition, should parking become an issue at Putnam Place, you reserve the right to reevaluate the situation. And here's-
Megan, if this is Mike, could I ask, so who makes, do you kind of determine that ahead of time or like on the spot if you see that there's more customers than usual on a Saturday or Sunday?
Well, it's not just for the extension to the street. I think they're also looking to keep the, is it for just the extension? Because I think they're also looking to keep what they have now.
Oh, that's
What
correct.
they have set up.
To have a more
So,
longer lasting than just during COVID time, you know?
yeah. Yeah, so we are allowing them to keep the, I'll call it half of the square
Yep.
now, indefinitely or until parking does become an issue because as pretty much everyone's aware, City Hall left Putnam Place, so we do have a vacancy. So once those hopefully fill up soon, and if we get building 3 online, it's just going to impact the parking situation. So, and they're well aware of that, and they're pretty flexible. When I say they, meaning River Styx, so they know that if we see an increase, if I see an increase, I will go to the board, and the board will reevaluate at that time.
Do you know how many people this actually represents for patrons or with the seating?
How many parking spaces?
Well, no, I guess the seating arrangement, just,
I do not. I didn't count that.
Well, you have 12 tables in the original area here where you have your cursor, Paula, and
Yep.
you figure 4 chairs around each table. I mean, I take it it's going to be a little bit closer together than it did when they started doing this back in the summer of 2020, because you don't need to be quite as far apart now.
Mhm.
Yeah, these say square tables, so in here. So, okay.
So on the weekends, that will expand out to the sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
I
That
don't
area
know how
outlined in
people that will
yellow.
include, but I'm sorry, Mike.
The area outlined in yellow. The additional area.
It's the additional. So they'll have barriers around, like where the orange says here, barrier. So there'll be barriers around the normal seating area, and then potential for expansion beyond to the yellow area.
They already do have the barriers up. They've been there since COVID restrictions.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Do any board members have any questions regarding the site plan or comments or concerns?
I think it looks fine, and we're very happy to help all River Styx if they need additional seating.
Anybody else?
I agree with Pete. I think this is good for the business and good for the area. So
All right. Seems to have been organized quite well. Still, there doesn't seem to be any potential, I haven't
No,
heard
it
of
looks
any. So, with the presence, so.
So who's
All right.
a designated motion maker in Paul's
Yeah,
absence?
and Paul's not here. Anybody would like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion
All right, Alex. Make your motion. What?
to approve vote to approve.
Okay. There's a motion to vote to approve. We'll take roll call. All those in favor say aye. All those not in favor say not in favor. This would be Lynn,
Aye.
Alex,
Aye.
Amanda,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
and Paula. Aye.
Okay, there's 5.
All right, we're good.
Hey,
you.
Paula,
Yes.
I just want to chime in for one moment since Laura was sort of handling the questions and she had to recuse herself. We did see a question come in related to 50 Frankfurt Street, and folks were wondering if that's on the agenda tonight. And I don't know if there are any other attendees here with that question. It's actually in front of the ZBA this evening, and I'm sure some folks might be confused because it's bounced back between the planning board and the ZBA in recent meetings. But that meeting's being held on the 3rd floor of 718 Main Street, the north at Fitchburg City Hall.
This evening, yes. The application from the planning board has last month was withdrawn. So they're at the presently that 50 Frankfurt is at the ZBA, and they may reapply to the planning board at a future time.
And also just a reminder to everyone in attendance, if you do have questions, you can write them in the question box, or you can also raise your hand if you wish to be unmuted and speak if it's the public hearing portion of the agenda. I do see a Dennis Kunian has their hand raised. I don't know if it's related to this item or others, but I just wanted to make you aware, Paula.
That's
Okay.
the 50 Wayland Street, Mike Marchetti's.
It's not, and that's not on our, yeah, that's on minor special permit, so we'll get there. All right. Been slow going on the open here, so that. Open. I've been going to the link.
Oops.
It's taking a moment, but we'll be going into site plan approval, next extension for Alpine Solar Array on Alpine Road. So if there is an applicant here for this, if you can raise your hand.
I think
We can
Jamie's name I saw earlier. Here we go. Yep.
I did.
Jamie?
Here.
Yep.
Hello, can everybody hear me? See me?
I can hear you.
Fantastic. Nice to see everybody. So if you want to, if you will allow me to share my screen, I can show you documents if you wish. However, I do have, the original approval was issued in 2017. And some of you may remember, I came before you last year, I believe in August or July, asking for a 1-year extension. At that time, we were in the middle of a transmission study by Unitil, and that study has been completed, so we do have a copy of the study. We're still waiting for the cost from Unitil to do the upgrades, so that's the next phase of the study. That should come to us within the next 1 to 3 months, and once we get the cost and the cost is approved, we're ready to begin the project. We are in the queue, and the buyer of the project is ready to proceed. So we're here this evening, a month early, to ask for a 1-year extension. I only need a 1-year extension, and for whatever reason, if the cost doesn't come back and I have to come back to you, I'd rather do it in a year than in 2 years. So a 1-year extension is fine for my client and for ourselves.
All right, so proposing to stay from August 10th of this year to our next board meeting in August of next year.
Correct. Yep. And if everything goes well, Paula, we should be under construction very, very shortly.
Okay.
Stick next year. And does any board member have any question?
All set here?
All set?
If you need a date certain, Paula, the second Tuesday of August would be August 9th in 2022.
August 9th, 2022. That would be fill in the blank right there. Yes. So
Need a
this, yeah, we would entertain a motion from any of the board members this time.
I'll make
Motion
that.
to approve the 1-year extension for the Alpine Solar Array.
Second,
So August 9th, 2022. So there's been a motion and a second, and then we'll take roll call. All those in favor, say aye. All those not in favor, say not in favor. Lynn,
Aye.
Alex,
aye.
Amanda?
Aye.
Laura,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Paula, aye. All right,
Fantastic. Thank you, everybody.
welcome.
You're welcome,
Have a
Jim.
great night. Bye-bye.
Just, Paula, one item for folks who weren't around, and a lot of folks weren't when this was originally approved, but way out Alpine Road, where the towers for the radio station are, this is a parcel on the back side of that, slopes down to the west, has some southern exposure, but that's the site of this proposed solar array. I think it was the first one that it was proposed here, but it's been trying to get off the ground for years.
Quite a while.
Yes.
Our next item under minor site plan modifications or reviews would be garden remedies for temporary office trailers at 307 Airport Road. Is there applicant here for this evening?
I think either Pat, yep, I see Pat's name, and just have to click on your mic, Patrick of McCarty Engineering.
Right. Go ahead, Patrick.
My button. There it is.
There you
There we
are.
go.
I was looking all over for the button to unmute myself. Good evening, everybody. How you doing? Patrick McCarty, McCarty Engineering, here tonight for Garden Remedies. They're continuing with the build out of the project that's been going on for a number of years. They started out with, a phase 1 build out, and I think we're up to phase 5. So in order to allow for that construction to move forward, they've brought in 2 office trailers that are 12 feet wide by 50 feet long. They're on the, what I'll call the back side of the building, the loading area side of the building. They're the blue rectangles that are on your plan. They're just temporary construction trailers. They will be connected to the building for electrical feeds, but the building inspector commissioner asked that we bring them before you to get an approval for them to be there. The duration should be minimum 6 months, maximum 12 months. It would be Garden Remedies staff using the trailers because the area of the building where they were sitting would be under construction.
So security, they still have the same security provisions?
Yeah, it's no cannabis related stuff is going on in the trailers, just office space.
Okay,
So everything that needs to be secure is in the existing building.
all right.
And just to orient folks just a bit, so the main entrance of the building would be on just to the left. Airport Road is way up at the top. First the Nashua River, and then Airport Road / Crawford Street. To the right of the picture is going over towards Fitchburg Airport. So this is at the rear of the building, like Patrick said, on that area of crushed stone and gravel.
Yep, and they're not visible from the street. They're tucked around behind the building.
Yep.
Parking storage area. How many employees per se would be using the trailers?
I don't know that answer, Paula.
Okay. But they're just present employees and most importantly, no cannabis.
Correct. Just temporary office construct, like you'd see on any construction site.
Are they construction trailers, like for the workers, or I'm assuming?
No, they're for Garden Remedies employees that
Okay.
their current workspace is being built out as part of Phase 5.
There's a provision in the ordinance which pretty much deters any ME activity in temporary structures. So that's why they're here for this piece.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny to come to planning board for a construction trailer, but understanding the cannabis element of it.
Yeah, exactly. And they're actually, right, it's not like they're in the middle of constructing the facility that's not occupied yet. It's,
Right.
Construction trailer, they're actually occupying it and conducting licensed activities. So,
Well, when you hear the term construction trailer, you're thinking that's the contractor's office,
Right.
And this is not. It's like, we'll call it more temporary office trailers rather than construction trailers, maybe.
Yep.
Patrick, fair to say a year, not to exceed?
Yes.
Okay.
from this date to our August, we'll say get back to our August 9th.
Sounds good to me.
The board has any other suggestions or questions?
It looks pretty straightforward to me.
Mm.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the use of 2 temporary office trailers at the Airport Road site for Garden Remedies for a term of no longer than 1 year.
Yep, and no cannabis activities. Got it. Motion's been made. Is there a second?
I'll
Second.
that.
Second?
A
It
second.
was a race.
There we go.
Let's go.
Everybody's stepping up tonight. This is awesome. Got it. So there's been a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say opposed. We're not in favor. Lynn,
Aye.
Alex,
Aye.
Amanda,
Aye.
Laura,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Paula, aye.
Great. Thank you very much.
Right.
Very
I'll go
welcome.
back on mute.
We do have one question. It's just, will Dunkin' Donuts on John Fitch Highway be part of the meeting?
It is into our hearing portion. It looks like the applicant has requested to continue, so we probably won't be hearing any of that this evening, but we'll make a formal vote on that shortly.
Paul, I had one, if I could, my bad, but there was another request for an extension. I'm not sure. I'll have to see on the attendees if Steve Sene is here. Remember the Meadowbrook planned unit development over off of Meadowbrook Road? There were several years ago. Anyway, that is kind of coming up on its 2 years to start. And Steve is here.
Well, I know, but it's not on our agenda this evening, so
I know.
we're not going to be able to do anything
put it on.
about it
Okay.
tonight.
Um,
I'm trying to open up our other special permits here. We have a minor special permit modification extension for 50 Wayland Street. That's what I'm trying to open up at the moment. Give me a minute. Where is it?
several folks here for that. I see Mike.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the, is the chalk. I had it all there, but then they popped in.
Actually, the 50 Wayland Street, Paula, is just a simple request just to add on to the approval of the transfer of the special permit.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any document. That's why, like, where is
Right.
that?
Actually, it's, I don't know, you call it a technicality. What Mike Machete had approval from the board back, however, whatever the date was, March of 2020, was for retail sales of adult use, non-medical marijuana.
Do we have a request in writing from them, or is anybody here to request it?
Yeah, there's Mike, and I think you just need to unmute yourself, Mike. I saw Bob. I see Dennis and Bob Patton. Bob, you there?
Hello?
Bob? Yep.
Yeah, hi. This is Bob Patton, CEO of Green Meadows Farm. I appreciate all of you inviting us to the meeting. I know you have a busy agenda. Just very simply, Green Meadows Farm holds CCC licenses at the moment for, as an adult use cultivator, manufacturer, and retailer. Also, we have licenses as a medical marijuana treatment center, which means you're vertically integrated as a cultivator and a manufacturer and a dispenser. We would like to add that to the special permit with your approval for the 50 Wayland Street site. And obviously then have that. In addition, we hope to get a special permit that's revised to feature Green Meadows Farm as the holder of the new special permit, just for CCC purposes. Right now, it's Marchetti Industries is the holder. And just FYI, we do have now executed lease agreements with the property owner, Dr. Arnold Watkin at 50 Wayland. Also, a executed purchase and sale agreement for the assets of Marchetti Industries, the special permit and the host community agreement. And we simply now are hoping that by first getting the medical approval from the planning board, then Patrick Hare of the mayor's office has indicated then the mayor would be happy to add medical to his current existing HCA that he has in place. And he has written, the mayor has given us a signed CCC form, certifying the HCA. But again, just for purposes of adding that to our abilities to, to serve the people of Fitchburg, to be a medical approved as well under the special permit. So
Did you provide a copy of the CCC license?
I can. I didn't. I can. And also this is the copy of the mayor's letter. But yeah, we have all of that and can certainly get those to you by mid-morning tomorrow without any difficulty.
All right. That would be just making sure that we would condition on looking at the approval is making sure that you're licensed to do it also from the state, subject to. So
Makes perfect sense. Absolutely fair question and a fair request, and we will fulfill it immediately.
And then also would be a condition about the fulfilling the amendment to the ACA, community host.
Yes, I mean, the mayor, Patrick Hare, the chief of staff there, I believe is his position. He just said that he would wait for the planning board to make the first step and then sort of allow it. And then they would add it to the newly revised HCA, naming Green Meadows Farm rather than Marchetti Industries. And again, we could take that ACA, but that means we have to layer it with an explanatory letter about why the names are changed. And it's just everyone's been very patient with us, Mike and others, Tom, about just saying, we'd love to get the paperwork in order. Just when you launch it into the CCC, as great as they are, it is a bureaucracy. So we want to make sure everything is properly notated and, and cited.
Bob,
Yeah.
I'll send Patrick a note after this meeting concludes at whatever hour that is, and I'll be in the office tomorrow. I'm across the hall from him. I'll
Perfect.
mention Patrick.
We'll send you the file of all our current and existing licenses so you understand we're in good standing on that score with the CCC.
Mhm. Good. Thanks, Bob.
Great.
Yeah, thank you.
The board members have more questions. Any questions?
I don't see any problem with it.
No.
Nope, I was just asking for, fulfillment of the paperwork,
Yes.
documentation to be effective upon completion of those activities and of course the filing of the modification.
Indeed, you'll have it.
All right.
I'd like to make a motion to allow the addition of medical sales to the 50 Wayland Street project with all the conditions spelled out by Paula.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made in a second, and we'll take roll call. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say opposed. We have, I know we're starting with the A's. Alin,
Aye.
Alex,
Aye.
Amanda,
Aye.
Laura,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
and Paula. Aye.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you all very much. We appreciate what you do. Thank you. Very well. Good evening.
We are now into our next segment of public hearings. An item on our agenda this evening, the first one is Severino for our 50 to 56 Oliver Street for a 26-unit multifamily, which was continued from February 9th. They have a request to withdraw without prejudice on the floor. Anybody like to make a motion to that effect?
I'd like to make a motion for the request to withdrawal for the 50 to 56 Oliver Street property.
Okay, would you withdraw without prejudice?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second. I'll second that.
And a second. We'll take roll call on that. We have, again, same rules apply. Those in favor say aye, opposed say opposed. Ellen,
Aye.
Alex,
Aye.
Amanda,
Aye.
Laura,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Paula, aye. Great, good with
Okay,
that.
that's it.
50 to 56 Oliver withdrawn. Our next is a special permit and site plan review, KCMC Management for 580 John Fitch Highway, which is construct new Dunkin' Donuts drive-through window. Continued from June 8th, 2021. We got a request for continuance. But
Well, if I may, just quickly, the background a bit. The applicant and the applicant's engineer had a meeting with our DPW and Mass DOT back in mid-June. There was certainly the issue of no left turns out of the site onto John Fitch Highway brought up. Mass DOT and our DPW are recommending that a traffic study be done. Hannigan Engineering is in the process of having that prepared, but they don't have it as yet. So they asked for another month to August 10th, it is.
Okay.
And that was the question asked by Mr. Bove, I think, in the questions section. So there won't be another notice being mailed out, Mr. Bove, but just tune in next month, the second Tuesday.
So at that, is there a motion on the floor for continuance?
I'll make a motion to approve the request to continue for the Dunkin' Donuts project.
I'll second that.
The August 10th meeting. Great. All right, motion's been made with the second. Roll call on that. All those in favor? All those aye. All those opposed, say opposed. We have a Lynn,
Aye.
Alex,
Aye.
Amanda,
Aye.
Laura? No, Laura? We lost Laura. Peter?
Aye.
Paula? Aye. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5. So we've got the 5 without Laura. What so happened to Laura? Is Laura still on the
She's not on video.
staff? No, I don't see her on video, but I was wondering if she was still in the staff.
I see her name and her I can see her. green.
Maybe she's
Laura?
just taking a break.
Hmm.
Oh, it's just offline.
All right.
It's just offline right now.
She's offline at the moment. Well, we have the 5 for continuance, so we have the approval for the continuance. So we're good with that. Our next applicant is special permit and site plan review for city storage at 0 Lancaster Street for 2 duplexes and a 3-family dwelling, continue from 6/8/21.
And I know Chris Anderson is waiting in the wings. I know he also has to be over at the Board of Appeals in-person meeting tonight for 7:30 for an item. So I had talked to him earlier today. If I don't see his name, and I don't,
We can come back to it.
yeah. After his item is up at the ZBA, he'll probably just go down to the lobby and get on his laptop and log on to this meeting.
Okay. So that being said, we'll push that one off for the moment, and we have. There was obviously somebody else was time sensitive. Was it 1151 Main Street?
Yes, and Bill. Of course, he's all the way down to the bottom because he's logged in as William Lorigan. Bill is Bill, you're unmuted. If you want to take the reins here for your application.
I sure will. This is Bill Lorigan with Lorigan Architects. I have another project on Main Street that we'd like to have you take a look at it. And it's 1151 Main Street. It's a 2-story building with 2 commercial tenants on the first floor that are on Main Street. And then the second floor right now is vacant and has been vacant for many years. The applicant would like to now alter the second floor to turn it into 3 apartments. And to be able to do that, I've informed him that the whole building needs to be fire sprinkled, and he's aware of that. So that's one big hurdle that, many landlords don't want to do, but he is very willing to go ahead and sprinkle the whole building. Parking for the building, the 2 commercial tenants have parking in their budding parking lot, and parking for the residents on the second floor is to the rear of the building. Seeing that we're going to have 3 units, we have 6 parking spaces for those units, plus an additional one for visitors. Always seems that we need an additional parking if we can get it, and in this case I was able to find a spot for them. Also on the site we have a trash enclosure towards the rear, completely fenced in enclosure. And so in the rear of the building right now there's it's a mishmash of finishes back there, and what's being proposed is the all new paved asphalt that will be accessible between. There is a shared driveway between, let me see here.
Here.
Between the 1195 and my applicant's building. So they have parking in the back of their building, and so we're going to have parking in the rear of our building also. And to provide this parking, we're going to have to put in a low retaining wall and push the hill back a little bit so we can get the parking in and plenty of aisle space next to it. That's correct, right in there. The retaining wall is probably going to be, I think, maybe about 3, maybe 4 feet maximum. We're just planning on using the, precast large stones to build that wall.
Access to the site there, Bill? Is it through this, since this parcel has been sold, was that no longer possible? Is it only going to be through the shared driveway?
That's correct, only through the shared driveway. I mean, there isn't a fence or anything up there, and it could be shared, but, there's no agreement between the abutters to have that as a legal shared driveway. So the only one will be off of Main Street between those two buildings.
All right. Thank you for that. I've got another. Go ahead.
And along with, like what we did just for the restaurant abutting, we're going to, propose doing landscaping like you had wanted for right along Main Street. So that, 3.5 foot wide strip next to the sidewalk will put in landscaping.
Yeah, we'd like to look at the caliber of that.
The caliber?
Let's just say we've seen some of what's being put in front of the neighboring property, and it's.
Oh, no, that was never supposed to happen. Those planters are coming down.
Okay. It's been commented on, so.
Yeah, I commented on it too. That was never supposed to happen. They jumped ahead. Somebody told them that, that they could do that without a permit. And I said, no, you can't do any of that work. So that's all coming down, and there's going to be a strip similar to what is across the street at the grade, at parking level, not these raised.
Bill, how about the retaining wall on the same property?
The retaining wall.
On the same property we're discussing along Chestnut Street.
Okay, what about it?
Is that coming down also?
When we build the building, it's going to have to.
I think it's this one. Right.
I would imagine. It would probably undermine it. I don't know.
All right.
I was never approved to do any of that. They just went ahead and did it. I haven't even looked at that retaining wall.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, I took a few photos of the site. I just want to share that as well, so we can get a perspective. I took the photographs yesterday. Let's see if I can actually go forward and backwards here. All right. So one of the is that the site. What is before the board this evening is a site plan. Because the building is on Main Street, they have some by right for our residents on second floor.
That's correct. Yeah.
So we're have the purview of the review of the site plan. But on the site plan, we have to look at all the uses on the site. So they have to demonstrate they've got parking for all of the uses on the site, for the square footage, for the retail. And then also there seems to be another car. Different site. Business on the property.
Yes, a detailing business.
Yeah, the detailing business. So be aware that this was the boxes on the other side, but the detailing business, there was a prior site plan that said the detailing business had to park all of its vehicles in the rear, and this is where the proposed residential parking is going.
I have never seen that site plan or any mention of that.
So that was, I'm trying to figure the year on that. I know I sent it to Mike previously. It's been a number of years. This is off of Main Street over here. So just looking at the site of the building of whether or not there's going to be any improvements. Because it's like missing siding. And then this is.
I mean, yeah, that's all. That's all going to be repaired and made proper. I mean,
yeah, we just want to make sure it's.
There's additional windows put in on that second story too.
So is there an elevation for it?
Pardon me?
Is there an elevation of what you intend to do with this?
No, there isn't right now.
So, and here's the auto business down here. So we have to have a site plan that just shows that it can fit all of the parking needed for maintaining these businesses. Because that, I get, this one was to be, have parking to the rear. This is the current parking in the rear. And then there was a self-made parking space on the side. This is the alley, the shared area. There's like a little bump out. That's the top. So this is where the area you'd be putting the retaining wall on the left. You push it back. And the dumpster would be kind of on this side.
Correct.
Down there. So we just wanted to. That's looking back towards the shared driveway area. So when you come up. That's the neighboring site. All right, so let's go back to the site plan. Over here. So I would just like to see a revised site plan showing all of the parking, because it needs to be, this one is very poorly striped and laid out for the business. So, and showing the number of parking spaces that they have for that business, as well as where they're going to park the tenants, occupants for the car detailing business, and where those cars sit and wait.
Okay.
If we're using the parking to the rear for residences. So we just need to
I
show
knew that there was no waiting. It was just people had appointments. They came in, dropped their cars off, and left. So that's what I've been told.
I guess we're just going to look at the zoning ordinance and see what it is.
Yeah, it's under recommendation from the building commissioner.
Okay.
There's
Well,
no
then-
number in the zoning.
I guess it would be then, then at least demonstrate how many employees where they would be parking.
Sure. I
I'm
will do
assuming,
that.
Adam, I'm assuming would be on this front area off of Main Street. But
Mhm.
at that. So it was that somebody asked about building elevations.
Yeah, I do agree with Laura on that. This whole property involved in this corner obviously needs some upgrading. And I'm very interested to see some more detailed elevations of exactly what the building's going to look like. I'm talking the colors that are going to be used. I'm talking where the windows are going to be placed and what kind of windows are going to be there, the different materials that are going to be used in the building. I just want to make sure before any approval is given to this project that the whole project fits well on Main Street and looks good. I think that's very important to me. It's a very, very visible corner, and it's on Main Street. The project has to look good.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So next time when we talk about this project, I want to see some detailed elevations of exactly what the building is going to look like.
And as you were involved with the building on the right-hand side, so the fencing on the left-hand side should be similar at the top of the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So we shouldn't be able to see plows and things like that. I think it was like, it was either going to be decorative or have the black slats.
No, it was going to be chain link with black vinyl.
Yeah, the black vinyl slats. Or
Not
vinyl chain link,
slats.
not slats, just black vinyl chain link. Got it.
That's correct.
So, and if the board, I guess, would be whether or not anybody else has any opinion on that it match.
Well, the accurate parking layout is definitely necessary.
Mm-hmm. I was unaware that you were going to require a parking layout for the tenant space on the first floor, seeing that I'm not really doing anything with the tenant space on the first floor, but we can do that.
Well, since it's all in a sense, it's all in the same parcel, and we're here for site plan. It's making sure everything can fit on the site for the parking. Pretty much, it's all about the parking.
Certainly.
So it shouldn't be too terrible, but We just need like, the square footage, what it means. Minimum parking spaces for employees, how many handicap spaces.
I understand.
Yep, okay. Because it looks like you got enough at the top, but again, there was a prior approval of the cars at the top, and there's already some vehicles at the top, so.
And I'm not sure where those vehicles came from. They might be the tenants next door. They seem to spill over into that lot right now.
Yep. So just pointing that out.
Yep.
All right.
Another question for you, Bill.
Yes.
Is there going to be room on the property to do a landscaping strip between the property and Main Street, a 3-foot strip?
I believe that's what I already had mentioned that's what we were going to do.
Okay, just a kind of a heads up there. It might be a good idea to try to duplicate what has been done right across the street with the landscaping that's there. You really can't go wrong with something like that.
That's what the plan was.
Good.
Cross over here.
Right.
Yep.
And like we talked about at the last meeting for the abutting site, it can't be exactly like it because on the opposite side there are trees.
Right.
And I don't believe trees are appropriate on this side underneath the power lines.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
But, the planting will match what's across the street. Right now, I believe it's a mix of daylilies.
Correct.
Okay. And then, so building elevations, match the chain link fence to the other parcel, match the plantings and the landscape frontage, and show the striped parking spaces for the site, the entire site parcel. The thing is at the top as well, I'm not sure whether or not they were intending to pave it, but it's all gravel.
I had already said, the parcel that's on the top is a mishmash of different materials, and the plan is to pave it.
Okay, that's good because we need to have extra. Otherwise, we're trying to figure out how to stripe the.
It's hard to stripe on gravel.
Yeah. Parallel.
Bill, am I correct in assuming that the 2 commercial tenants that are in the building already and the 3 new tenants that will be occupying the building above on the 2nd floor will all be using a dumpster and not city services for trash removal?
Well, right now I'm showing a dumpster location.
Yeah,
so that's going to be for tenants also.
Well, that was meant solely for the tenants. That wasn't meant for the tenants on the 1st floor. That was for the residential tenants.
Okay, so the residential tenants will be using a dumpster and not city services.
Well, I had a dumpster enclosure. I wanted to get, I'm not sure about the problem of having them use city services.
That's here.
If they have I wanted a place to hide the trash cans. So we can call it a trash can enclosure.
That would be fine too.
Yeah, I wanted them out of sight.
Yeah,
the
that's good.
question would be that they're not going back up there to get the trash. They'd have to be put down the street down here.
Right. It's a long haul from where they would be putting trash.
So that's something that's going to have to talk to the owner about.
Mm-hmm. And about whatever they have for their trash receptacle for the businesses where that is presently and it's properly screened.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good.
That works. I think, overall, this whole spot will be upgraded very nice.
Yes.
I believe so.
Did any other board member have any questions or comments? And this is a public hearing, so we're going to ask the public if they also have any questions, comments, or concerns regarding this major site plan application.
Paul, I see there's an attorney, Bradley, who has his hand up. Bill, do you know, is that related to Reverend Bradley, the applicant?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Some,
Attorney
Yes,
Bradley,
Yes.
I-
Yes. Well, good evening. Yeah, Attorney Mark Bradley here. I'm the attorney for Dennis Bradley. He's also my father. I'm the attorney for all the situations that's going on with 1151 Main Street. Yeah, just wanted to make a brief comment about the parking. I know the Sabao Market on their lease has the 4 parking spaces directly in front of the building. Then there's several parking spots in front of the other vacant building that belongs to Mr. Bradley that says like the restaurant, machinery, whatever it is. There's several parking spots there, and those aren't assigned to anyone. And the plan is for the auto detailing spot, it, like Bill was saying, it is just an appointment scheduled business where they bring the car inside the building. I believe they can fit up to like 6 or 8 cars inside the building. So all the parking for the detailing is going to be directly inside the garage. If the employees need to park somewhere, they can park in those parking spots that are in front of the restaurant machinery building that's there, which those parking spots are not assigned to the other tenant that's there. So the upper lot will be just assigned to the tenants living in the residential building.
this one. All right. That's good information. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Attorney Brown. Sorry, I didn't notice the name until just recently.
No, absolutely not a problem.
Yep, we just want to make sure all of the activities get on the site for all the employees and customers and tenants.
Yes.
I'll make sure that it has enough parking.
And then that'll be like laying it out, right? These are striped here, but
Of course, yeah, I'll make sure it's on the drawing. It shows everything that we need to show.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nick Erickson's hand is up as well.
Nick. This is DPW
There we go.
looking for comments on.
Oops. There you are, Nick.
Sorry. Thanks. Can you hear me?
We can.
All right, great. Good evening. So a few comments on the proposal before us. DPW definitely wants to see a parking layout. We've talked about that a little bit. On the water side, I'm not sure exactly what the existing water service connections to the building are, but obviously we have to make sure that they're adequate for the proposed use. If new water service lines need to be installed, either for the domestic water supply or for the fire sprinkler system, just please be aware that the water division is going to need a new water service application along with the design plans for that system. The work in the city's layout will need to be performed by a bonded contractor if a new water service line needs to be run. Technically, that section of Main Street is under pavement moratorium or excavation moratorium, but Unitil actually is getting in there to install a new gas main, so we're not going to hold to that. So if a new water service line needs to be installed, we'll definitely issue a permit for that. If that work needs to be completed, it's subject to a road opening permit, trench permit. As I mentioned, bonded contractor needs to do the work. And then on the wastewater side, I haven't talked to the sewer system manager about this particular project yet, so I recommend giving him a call just to see if there's any sort of change in use sewer connection fees that would apply here. A lot of times he also asks 2 things of applicants in this scenario. One, that the existing sanitary sewer service laterals are CCTV inspected to make sure that they're suitable for the proposed use. And he also likes to conduct an inspection of the roof drains for the building to make sure that they are not connected into the sanitary sewer system. I believe this is already conducted for the garage or the proposed car detailing business. So I think that portion of the building is all set, but obviously we'd want to check out the portion of the building that's being proposed for residential use. And I think that's it with regards to DPW comments on this. Just want to mention something about the neighboring property there. Looks like some of the work that was done is in the city's right of way, especially along, I think it's Chestnut Street there. That work cannot be conducted without a permit, and anyone that excavates within the city's layout needs to be a bonded contractor. We have a list. Contact DPW Engineering if you'd like to get a copy of that list, but there's no exceptions to that rule.
On that issue, the property line goes out to the curb line on Chestnut.
Oh, okay.
So all that work that was done there was actually on their property.
Okay.
Thanks. Thank you, Nick.
Bill, the gentleman in wastewater that Nick was mentioning is Tony Maressa. I'll send you his number and contact information by email. I know you got to scoot to get over to City Hall.
I do, yes.
Is there a motion to be made to continue?
I'll make a motion to continue the site plan review.
Second that?
Motion's been made with a second. Take roll call vote to continue. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say opposed. Alin?
Aye.
Alex?
Aye.
Amanda?
Aye.
Laura?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye.
Paula? Aye. All right, thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
We have our next, let's see, we have a special permit and site plan review for city storage at 0 Lancaster Street. Actually, is the applicant here for that? That's the one we just passed
The
over.
applicant's engineer is, just got his name, Greg Roy.
He's here.
Okay, so that's for two duplexes and a 3-family dwelling for our June meeting.
And
Hey, everybody, this is Greg Roy. Can you all hear me?
we can, Greg. Hold on just a sec. Paula, there was Greg had sent over a revised plan first thing this morning. First thing, but,
Let me see if I find it in the new link.
or I can just forward the email to you, whichever is.
You know what? That probably would be best because I don't think I have it.
Okay. Hold on a sec.
Of course, it's not popping up. To give it a minute. Because I don't have revised one.
Okay. I just forwarded to you by email. It'll
Okay.
say 0 Lancaster in the subject line. Unless, Greg, do you happen to have it on your screen? And we can,
I figured you would share it, but I could certainly pull
That's
it
okay.
up. If you'd like me
It's-
to.
probably quicker this way. I mean, when Paula opens it up.
I don't know if I could figure out how to share the screen. But
Oh, we would,
I'm not used to this meeting format. Apologize for that.
Here it is. I can open it.
Yeah, it looks right.
Hello. I get so many things open, it's a little slow.
I know the feeling. The age of virtual meetings. Yeah, that's
Let's build it now. Here we go.
Thank you very much. With your permission, I'll just give you a brief couple of minutes here. Greg Roy with Dillison Roy. I'm representing City Storage this evening. I appreciate your time. I know you have a busy agenda. We were, of course, here a month ago or so to open the meeting, and we had filed a complete site plan with special permit application showing 7 units, as you indicated, Paula, in the opening reading. We took your comments from the
opening hearing. And I've been working with the owner, City Storage, Mr. Lambert, relative to that, to those comments. And so this evening, I do not have a full set of site plans before you. You'll notice it's just a single set. And I did that intentionally. I really wanted to present this plan to the board more of a conceptual level. We would, of course, follow this up with detailed plans and full. I understand also that we haven't had a full engineering review on this, and I frankly did not want to waste your engineering staff's time with doing another plan iteration here before coming back before you to discuss the plan. So just very briefly, I'll give you an overview of how we arrived at the point we're at, what you're looking at in front of you. We heard loud and clear last time that density was an issue. We, of course, had 7 units before. So my client was willing to reduce that down to 6 units, as you can see on the plan. We're also overlapping that with a requirement from your not zoning ordinance, your general ordinance relative to driveway location, relative to the distance between driveways, new driveways and curb cuts to existing streets, which is 50 feet. So so taking that into consideration, and also taking into consideration there wasn't a butter immediately to our left as you're looking on the plan. Of course, concerned with the expressing concerns with the project and the proximity of the buildings. We've also shifted the units closest to that abutter further away from the lot line, such that it matches the existing offset that abutter has to the lot line. So, trying to take into account those type of issues. And so where we landed was a 6. The plan in front of you is a 6 unit building. We would, of course, make this. It's a residential use. Would, of course, make this tasteful with architecture and things, so that we would make it aesthetically pleasing. I guess I just wanted to reiterate that, of course, we'd have to update the plan, but I'm interested in hearing from the board your thoughts on the density reduction and things. I guess I just wanted to end with the site is in a neighborhood business, and there's uses that are that could be put there by right that would just require the site plan approval. We wouldn't be before you for a special permit for the use. And City Storage, my client, Mr. Lamberts, does have at least 1 or 2 parties that are interested in more of a commercial use for the property. He wanted me to just mention. He wanted me to mention that, and to just mention that he really believes, and I think I agree with him. He really would like to do a residential use here. It's of course a transition piece between a residentially zoned area and a commercially zoned area or a business zoned area, and just with the way the land works there, when you're traveling down Lancaster Street, you feel like you're more in a residentially zoned area than you are a commercial area, and the applicant does understand that. I think several members of your board indicated that at the opening meeting as well, and that's why he'd really like to do the residential, but he needs to preserve density. So, we've been working back and forth for the last several weeks on that, and this is the plan that we wanted to show you and get your input on. So I think that's the highlights. And again, I appreciate your time this evening, and I'm interested to hear any comments, questions from you folks.
What's this dimension here regarding the driveway?
That's as similar as we had before. That's just, we're setting the buildings back. There's no offset requirements for buildings in this zone, but we've we've set the structures back 21 feet so that we can have an 18-foot space for a vehicle and meet the 3-foot offset to your to the property line per your bylaw, per your ordinance, excuse me.
It's typically the 3 feet from the property line. Glad you trying to address the density. It was 7 units, and you've gone to 6. So I do agree that you mentioned it's in a residential neighborhood because it abuts residential A, which is all single families, and these are duplexes being proposed as condominiums or apartments would be a question.
Yeah,
I know there's a very severe retaining wall here, so I was going to say, I know it's listed as a neighborhood business district and agree the residential is more befitting of it, but I don't see it as a transition because we didn't see at all any of the business, which is pretty much accessible on Water Street side per se. So I see that you moved the driveways from the 50 feet increment back from the intersection as well. Still have a concern about the density and the narrowness of that road because I don't think it's enough parking to have 2 spaces per.
It is a very narrow road.
Yeah. I recommended, previously about 3 units tops from the last year, but whether or not that was.
I do want to assure you that I did give the applicant a summary of your comments, so I appreciate that.
I would be happy with 2 duplexes and perhaps some open space in between. And then you're getting units.
So I do appreciate this. I mean, of course, we'd love for you to applaud and cheer the plan we have in front of you, but to the extent that that's not going to happen, we are interested in understanding what the board, to the extent there's a difference in the number of units that the applicant would like to build and the number of units that the board feels is appropriate for the site. We would like to understand what that number is so that he can sort of assess.
So the feeling is, I was going to say, it's like that in the area, it is like it's a Res A single family. So now you're looking at like this big block of building, that doesn't seem to fit because it's a huge building versus it being, like Laura mentioned, separated out, making it look more typical 2-family home, 2-story.
Yeah, I understand that, but I also note that and point out that it also there's uses that could be permitted there that would generate a building that might be of similar size and probably have a different look and feel than a residential building. There's a whole bunch of business uses there that are allowed.
True, but it's still site plan.
Yeah, no, I know. It's like
to kind of make the building fit in whatever it is into the neighborhood. So
I get that, but it's a different. It's not a.
It's another dynamic. We understand that.
Yeah.
Yes. But looking at this in front of us, that's just part of it. Any board member want to have any comments out there or about this proposal or?
Well, I do appreciate the fact that the owner of the property obviously would like to get as many units as possible onto the property. And, 6 units is certainly a decent number, but it's also not in character with what's in the neighborhood already. If I lived in that neighborhood, I would prefer to see, a nice single family home on that lot. That would really be fitting. But that said, I do agree with Laura that I don't think I could really pass putting more than 2 duplexes on that lot, preferably what Paula had said originally, 3 units. That's what I would like to see there.
Anyway, Laura mentions that if it was 2, then you take out the middle building and have some open space, but either that would create some more off-street parking for those units.
Understood. I understand. And I appreciate.
Wanted to make it really much more of that residential look that's there and not a big block of building. and have enough parking for guests and others, and because you really cannot have any on-street parking on that in that area.
Paula, I think you do have some members of the public here. There's a Diane Macchio, who's had her hand raised.
All right.
Ms. Macchio, if you just unmute your...
Yes, thank you so much, Mike, and thank you, Paula, Laura, and Pete, for your feedback so far. I totally agree. I've lived, if you look at your little diagram there, I've lived at the corner of Lyman and Lancaster Street since I was 5 years old. And I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but I've been here for a long time. The house that I live in was built by my grandfather. Okay, so this is my home, and I absolutely agree with what the three of you have already said. You want to keep the character of the neighborhood in mind. Now, I understand from a business perspective, Mr. Lambert wants to make the most money that he can in utilizing that piece of property. But I heard Pete say, and I totally agree, the best way to do that would be to build a very nice single-family home on that property. A few years ago, one of my classmates from high school, further down Lancaster Street, I don't know if any of you have been on Lancaster Street recently, built himself, he's an individual contractor, built 2 beautiful single-family homes on Lancaster Street, okay? Mm-hmm. There's no reason why you couldn't use this piece of property, build another nice, beautiful home on this piece of property. To me, that would be the best thing to do with that piece of property, to be in character with the neighborhood, because the neighborhood is all single-family homes, okay? I've lived here for many decades. I've seen all the property that get built around here, and I would much prefer seeing that. And you're absolutely right. Lancaster Street is a very narrow road, and there's no way you can park on the street. There's no room and let the traffic go by. You can't do it. And I'm telling you right now, when the snow comes, the street gets narrower too. Okay. Mm-hmm. When the city plows come along and plow the street. Again, I've lived here since I was a kid. I used to go sliding down Lyman Avenue, sliding down Lancaster Street on my sled, and that was way back when most of these houses that are my neighbors now weren't even here. Okay, so I'm here to say that yes, I understand Mr. Lambert wants to make the most money that he can out of that piece of property. I think he can make a good chunk of change by building a really nice house, because as I've said, within the past 5 to 7 years, 2 very nice homes have been built on Lancaster Street, and they're very nice properties, and I'm sure the people made good money on those properties, and he could do the same thing here. So that's what I have to say, and I'm happy to take questions.
Yeah.
I'm just looking, Paula, at the assessors map 111 Lancaster, kind of directly across the street from this site.
Right here?
Yeah, that's my neighbor.
And then
you're at the corner?
And where you're pointing, that's Diane. That's my property right there.
Oh.
And
wow.
I work very, 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 very hard to
Your
maintain
landscaping is wonderful.
Yes. Paula,
I noticed a lot of effort on that.
Okay, Paula. So, again, I've been in this house since I was a kid, and my dad was a part-time landscaper, and he took pride in taking care of the property. And after he died, I spent a lot of money with local people to maintain this property, to maintain my home in honor of my parents. And I don't want to see the neighborhood, I want to see the neighborhood go up and not the other way, so to speak.
That was just probably like Pete mentioned, just keeping with neighborhood character, because it's like we do see pretty, these are some.
If you take a ride, if you take a ride on Lyman Avenue, even go down further down Lancaster Street and look at the new houses that were built recently, go down Fairlawn, all single family homes, and all the neighbors, do their best to maintain the property. Okay. And we take pride in that. And that's what it's all about, right? And if I would recommend that this would be a single family home that somebody would take pride in maintaining there, because they're going to be in a nice neighborhood, or at a minimum, sell them as condos because, again, sometimes people who own property will take better care of their property versus someone who rents an apartment might not take good care of it. Okay? So, and by the way, I'm always looking around to see if there's anybody that, sometimes people like to leave some trash on Lancaster. I call DPW immediately, say, come and get that stuff. We don't want that in our neighborhood.
Okay, thank you for your comments tonight. Is there anybody participant in the public that would like to speak on this matter?
I don't
Not
see
seeing
any.
Yeah, raised. I don't see any.
If you have any more meetings, I'd like to be invited back.
We shall see where this goes.
Yeah.
If it's continued, it'll be our next meeting in August.
August the 10th, second Tuesday of the month.
Okay, so how do I get the link to the next meeting?
Link will probably stay the same, but I'll take down your email address because I can get it here and keep it and send you the agenda with the link.
Is that Mike speaking? I don't see
Oh,
your.
sorry.
It is Michael O'Hara from Community Development Office.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Paula, Laura, Pete,
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Good night.
and Mr. Roy.
And thank you, ma'am, for your comments. I do appreciate it. Appreciate you showing up on behalf of Dick. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm happy to talk to Mr. Lambert if he wants to talk to me.
I'll tell him. Thank you.
Okay.
And as previously mentioned, it's like the parcel can also be split for single family.
Yeah, no, I think I have a good sense here. So I
think the single family home would be the best way to go.
It's my opening comments. I don't want to waste your time or the board's time. So I think that that probably the best course of action here would be to ask you to continue to next month, and I will spend the next few weeks working with Mr. Lambert on and communicating with him the substance of your the discussion tonight.
Okay, because so you get the overall piece. It's density in that the building is big.
Yeah, understood.
Not kind of fitting in.
I'd like to make a motion to a vote to continue the Lancaster Street property.
I approve.
I'll second that.
Motion made by yeah.
Okay, so
Motion made by the board in a second. We're going to take roll call. When in favor say aye. Those opposed say opposed. We have Helene.
Aye.
Alex.
Aye.
Amanda.
Aye.
Laura.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye.
Paula. Aye.
don't forget Tracy.
And, as policy, because this is a special permit, Tracy can step in on this one. Aye.
So
Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. Have a good evening.
You too.
Night, Greg. I know, Paula, let's see. Sorry, Zero Lancaster is down. Chris Anderson sent me a note. He is in the wings. He does have something in another town, I think.
The Beach Street?
No, Congress Place, the parking lot for the three or four family, I think, next door.
So
They
he's
can
ready?
run now. Yeah, let me get. If you're on the phone, you're calling in, and it looks like the phone is green now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can, Chris.
Great. Yeah, I'm in Pittsburgh zoning board right now.
Oh, well, is this?
Going 2 and 1.
Thank you.
So can you do this now or later?
Sure. Nope. Oh, I got a break from them, so I can present the project.
Gotcha.
So this thing before us this evening is the site plan review major for Twin Pines Landscaping at 10 Congress Place, construction of parking for a 4-unit building. I think a 6 parking spot layout.
Great. Just for the record, Chris Anderson with Hannigan Engineering. On behalf of Twin Pines Landscaping for the construction of a parking lot to service it's an existing structure that's going to be rehabilitated to a 4-bedroom or a 4 apartment dwelling unit, multifamily dwelling. Currently, the property is vacant where the proposed parking lot is going to be. It does, topography-wise, drop off at a rapid rate towards the east side of the property, in a generally downhill fashion. As part of the project, it's the intent of the applicant to renovate the existing structure to be a combination of 1 and 2 bedroom dwelling units, resulting in the need for a total of 6 parking spaces to service the structure itself. Those spaces will be primarily contained within the 10 Congress Place, with the building being at 8 Congress Place. Access to the parking area will be along Congress Place. It will provide access to a 24-foot wide drive aisle with the compliant zoning spaces along the easterly side of the parking area. The intent is to try to keep the parking area as far away from Congress Place as humanly possible. But at the end of the day, you'll have a fully compliant parking lot area located on the property. As I stated earlier, there is quite a rapid drop-off on the property, so a retaining wall system will be constructed along the outer perimeter of the site in order to contain the actual parking area. This wall will have the appropriate fall protection measures, guardrails, and security fences to prevent any personnel from going over the side of the wall as is required by code. Based on the new zoning ordinance, stormwater management does apply to these parking areas. So we're intending to capture the runoff via a couple of catch basins and directing that ultimately to a underground storage system, which will be located within the property itself. We did provide drainage calculations to the DPW for their review. I believe at this point in time, I haven't seen anything come through from their review itself. Additional features on the property will include additional landscaping between Congress Place and the actual drive or parking drive aisle to provide additional shielding from the parking area to the roadway itself. That, and combined with the actual topography change in this area, you should see the headlights of a vehicle should be pretty well set below the grade of Congress Place. If there's any questions from the board, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
What's the drop between, I mean, you've got a retaining wall system, so they won't be as severe, or what's the pitch down the parking lot?
The pitch down through here is around 5%, so it does drop a little bit, but it's still maneuverable for a vehicle to get in and out of the area as well. That's primarily the reason behind the high retaining wall system, is because we're flattening out that area and projecting the grade across the site itself.
And we don't have any, there's no fence in the front, just landscaping?
Just landscaping.
Okay. So fence detail in the back, what is the fence detail? What is the proposed fence above the wall? Is it guardrail?
It'd be a black chain link fence.
Okay, black chain.
And about what's the drop? How high is the wall about?
At its highest point, it's about 18.5 feet.
Whoa. Yeah, I asked that about the fence because it's about to some second floor windows and some surrounding buildings. So it's what they're going to be looking at too.
Yep. And I should note that the property to the immediate east is a vacant lot owned by the city.
That's the old Pete's Battery, I think, isn't it? Oh, I'm sorry, to the left, is he looking at?
To the east.
To the east, yeah, the 80 Lunenburg, the old
Fitchburg?
Pete's Battery site, as it is known.
So, all right, what we're waiting for is comments from our departments.
Well, we do have Nick here. maybe a verbal, if I get Nick back on.
There was a list.
Hey, Mike, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry. I was making sure that you were still there.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm called in and I'm on the computer, and the computer just froze. So glad I'm unmuted.
Okay.
So I did get a chance to review the drainage calculations that Chris dropped off for us. I think everything looks good. Ideally, I wouldn't like to see an overflow from a system like this directed towards an adjacent property. In this case, the city of Fitchburg. It's a vacant parcel. The property where this parking lot's proposed is an absolute mess right now, and I think it is a much needed improvement for the area. So the system's been designed to hold essentially up to the 25-year storm, and during larger storms than that, the whole site's going to be underwater anyways, or the whole hillside's going to be running with water anyways. So I'm comfortable with what's been proposed. The city standard is essentially designing to hold the 25-year storm on site, and it accomplishes that. Overall, I think it looks good. No other comments besides that.
Okay.
I guess I have one follow-up there. Since the overflow would be onto the city parcel, I mean, the long-term plan is that's not going to be vacant lot forever. I mean, the city's been kind of trying to do 21E investigation to see how developable that lot is. So does the overflow going on to 80 Lunenburg kind of preclude further development opportunities at that 80 Lunenburg parcel?
Oh, Mike, I can speak to that.
Sorry, Chris.
Oh, sorry. So like Nick had said, it contains up to the 25-year, which is a pretty good sized storm. And the system during the 100-year only discharges at, I believe, around 0.4 CFS. So that's a really low flow. And by the time it gets through the woodland and everything like that, it should be pretty well dissipated. And just for the record, a 100-year storm, and Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, is close to 6.8, I believe. I'm sorry, I'm not looking at my calculations off the top of my head, but it's also a very large storm. So the system is very well sized to accommodate the storm events that come through this area with low flow coming out of the site.
I imagine that'll be interesting with the that size of a wall and the hydraulic pressure behind it.
Yeah, nowadays with all the backfill materials and sub drains within the wall, it would be able to adequately accommodate that flow.
Right, thank you for that. Is there any other board questions? And we'll take some public comment.
Well, it certainly is a challenging site to build on, but I see the need for the parking, and I see it's a good solution. Just a little aside that I'd like to make concerning the property is I'm very familiar with this property. My father used to own it, and there was a 4-family dwelling on this piece of property, and it was a beautiful house. It had a full cellar, and below the cellar, a sub-cellar. So I know about the inclines on that property. I spent many a boy playing in that sub-cellar.
I think it's a good move.
I have pictures of the house that was there if you're interested.
Wow.
I think the cleanup of the landscaping and all along Congress Place is going to be beneficial, as well as providing the off-street parking for the
Absolutely. I think it'll be an upgrade to the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Is there any public comment?
I'm not seeing any hand raised.
Nope. And we have our department review, so we're good to go, I think. Actually, you want to mention there was one thing about the taxes to make the board aware.
Yeah, so the board and the public aware. two separate lots, two different property owners right now. 10 Congress Place, the subject property, the parking lot, they're good on property taxes. The adjacent 8 Congress Place is owes about over $10,000, something like $12,000, I think, and the city treasurer mentioned. That has been placed by the court in receivership. The receiver is the owner of 10 Congress Place. So the arrangement will be the receiver fixes up the unit at 8 Congress Place, builds a parking lot, and either sells it or auctions it off. At the time of sale or auction, the city will be made whole with the taxes. But we can't certify that the adjacent property, the 8 Congress Place, is free and clear of taxes right now, but it isn't. But I mean, the city treasurer has definitely a vested interest. So there won't be, there probably won't be a final certificate of occupancy before they have, they're made whole on the taxes or have a written repayment agreement for the taxes with the city treasurer. The approval of this site plan will help spur things along, because you need to have the parking for that unit next door.
All right, is the board satisfied with the explanation regarding the taxes?
Separate ownership?
Different parties. So one that I guess is mentioned, Congress is in receivership. They purchased the adjoining property to develop it for parking, and then we'll sell the entire
lot.
Both. So that it will pay back the taxes. So it's an advantage. It's to get this parking lot done, so the city can return the tax money.
The name on the assessor's parcel, I think it's Murphy. I'm positive, but I mean, the city has been at the Board of Health for code violations, and the city have been after him for years with no response. And so the Board of Health has the ability to suggest to the court that it be placed under receivership, which has been done a number of other times in this city. And that's one way of getting some action on it. I mean, the receiver is someone who has done that before, taken distressed properties, fix them up, and make them usable again, and then sell them off or auction them off. So the receiver wouldn't have been appointed by this particular receiver would have been appointed by the court unless they knew what they were doing.
Okay. Thank you.
I think this is a good opportunity to solve all of those issues.
All right. If there's no public further comment, would someone like to make a motion to close the hearing?
Hey, Paula, this is Nick Erickson. One more thing. Question for Chris. Would you mind forwarding me some information about the proposed retaining wall system, just for review?
Yeah, I can send you the proposed block system that we're proposing. And then pretty much what happens is with these kinds of walls, the construction company will go out, get bids from various wall manufacturers, and at that point they'll develop the full wall design with the camber, backfill material, and the MSE requirements as well. So yeah, if we can get that stuff to you pretty easily.
Okay,
yeah,
great.
You need to
Thank
do
you,
that
Chris.
for building or constructing the wall, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
this wall requires a building permit, so it's going to be done.
Paula, I hope there has an engineering sign off on that.
Yes, there will be another stamp on this plan besides mine.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Thank you for bringing that up, Nick. So if the board has enough information to close the hearing, anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
All right, all those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed? Okay, well, hearing's closed. Discussion?
I think it's definitely an improvement.
Like that. They're addressing drainage. We've got that there's going to be a black chain link fence along the top. It's for 6 parking spaces. We do have the retaining wall, and they're going to provide some additional information to DPW on the wall and or any type of other drainage calculation that's needed. And that's all I have.
I think that's all we need.
That being said, would anybody like to make a motion to that effect?
Motion to approve the parking plan for 8 to 10 Congress Place.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
And a second? All right. And I'll say, we'll keep roll call. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say opposed. I'll start with Alin.
Aye.
Surprise.
I'm ready. Aye.
Alex.
Aye.
Amanda.
Aye.
Laura.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye.
Paula. Aye. And it's site plan, so no Tracy. All right.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, thank you very much.
Back to your ZBA meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm scoping out the agenda here. Next, we have
Beach Street.
Beach Street. On Beach Street, we have special permit and site plan review for ASG Dreamflip LLC for 0 Beach Street for a 20-unit multifamily, continued from our June meeting. But I didn't see any additional.
Don't. I'm sure we'll have some additional comments verbally from Nick Erickson.
Is
Sorry.
there anybody here for?
Yeah, Pat didn't go away. I think Pat is still here. Oh, son of a gun, I just saw his name. No, we don't. Several abutters. Justin, I'm sorry. You must be here for that. Justin
Thank you,
Leclerc of McCarty.
Yeah, I'm here too. I just came over to Justin's desk.
Oh, gotcha. And there are several abutters whose name I recognize as well when that time comes, Paula.
Okay. Just trying to open up this site plan. All I have is a site plan from the last meeting. I don't have any other submittal at this point.
Correct.
Okay.
So we're going to be relatively quick this evening. Since the last meeting, we did meet with the proponent and discuss with him the concerns about the density. So he has agreed to eliminate the 2-unit building that's on the left as you're coming in from Beach Street and put that back to the open space area from the original plan. But other than that, we haven't made any edits to the rest of the plan set because we're still awaiting comments from the engineering division. As of today, we haven't seen any, so we haven't made any further revisions. So we just wanted to quickly update the board with the elimination of those 2 units and then ask for a continuance to give us time to receive and respond to the comments and any other comments that the board might have this evening.
Okay, so I know you're waiting for engineering comments, but we really wanted to see a kind of a revised layout of the property because of the barrack style building and more access to the recreation areas. And it was already mentioned about reducing the units maybe to about the 16 mark.
Yeah, so we did mention that to the proponent, and he would prefer to just eliminate the 2-unit building and keep the 2 larger buildings. He did agree to provide architectural renderings and to make sure that they're not barrack style in their appearance as you refer to them, maybe adding some dormers on the roof to break up the roof line and switching up the siding pattern and color so it's not one continuous wall of one color. So he has those being prepared, but he would prefer to keep the density 2 units less than originally proposed and 2 more than the 16. So hoping to meet in the middle with the board on that one.
He has no, there's no opportunity from your client to stagger the units a little, offset some of them? So to break up that, it's a very harsh design.
Yeah, it's unfortunately the back of each building is against the respective zoning setback.
Okay.
So I
Yeah,
mean,
we got flexibility with some of that, so, and I think we already kind of mentioned our preference.
you have flexibility with. I'm sorry, you broke up, Paula, when you spoke.
The board does have some flexibility with that. It's
With the setback?
for a PUD. We're still gonna do frontage, but yeah.
Oh, well, I wasn't aware that you could grant relief on the setback. If you could, then we'd be happy to stagger the buildings so that they're not one straight line.
This is being submitted as a PUD,
Yes.
correct?
Yep.
So, because presently, I'm not in favor of it.
Yep.
So, you can do the re-engineering review, but I not in favor of it. I'll just put that out there without kind of those modifications, as well as, again, better access to the recreation areas. I just don't see it as being a PUD, of being really more having those units have that access to those areas as well. And it's dense.
Very dense.
Right. I understand that it's dense, and I understand it's a special permit. It's a lot less dense than what your special permit regulations say that you could have on this land area. And, that's why we discussed with the applicant about reducing the number of units, and he agreed to eliminate the 2-unit building and create that open space, recreate the open space that was on the old plan. I understand that that your preference would be to eliminate the middle unit on each building, to break it up into 4-unit buildings like it was before. But perhaps, with staggering the building and some architectural renderings of the building, we could sway your opinion of that.
Well, again, those open spaces are going to allow better access to the rear of the properties in that proposed recreation area. You can't get there.
Well, you can certainly get there by walking around either building.
Right, yes, but we're in the design phase. You don't have to, you can make it work now, but.
Paul, if you go back to that folder, I have DPW review comments dated June 7th. Because I have
We were never given those.
Okay. Well, let me.
June 7th?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, here it is.
Okay, Pat, I'm sending both you and Justin it now. Sorry.
Yeah, they're just dated July 10th, Mike.
July 10th.
Looking at your folder right there, they say July 10th on the date modified.
It's June 7th.
No, June 7th. Okay, look in your email there, either Pat or Justin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't this talked about last month too? Because that would have been the day prior. Because I don't think.
So at the last meeting, Nick and I had discussed during the meeting just some of highlights of his comments, but we didn't formally receive a letter to respond to.
Okay.
Well, no big deal on our end. I mean, obviously we have them now, so we can read through them and go address these items, and also speak to the applicant again about the density concerns and see what can be done.
We've got some public comment to hear too.
Okay.
Definitely.
I've been jotting down some of the names. Ms. Crowley on Pratt Road is here. Ms. Page on, she's the direct abutter on, and she has her hand up too.
All right.
You set for that public comment portion, Paula?
Yes. Yep. That's
Ms. Page, you're unmuted. You just have to click on the microphone and unmute yourself and say,
Yeah. Hi.
there you go.
Okay, we're opposing it because it interferes with my mother's land. My land.
Beach Street.
Yes.
This is 267 each?
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, right where your cursor is, Paula. Yes. Or the hand.
Okay.
I'm not seeing your cursor. Oh,
I'm not-
The little hand thingy. Just to the right of the entrance driveway,
okay.
guys.
Yeah, we want to oppose it.
Okay. That's fine for your comment.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I think that was mentioned early at the last meeting as well, because they're presently using this access point here for parking.
Is it, but what are they using? Can you show me again, Paula?
Right here, if you actually using the part of the right of
way
through for parking right now versus, and then the applicant, and you can correct me if I'm inaccurate here, was gonna make sure that they retained an opening here so that they could have the parking towards the rear of their property.
Yes. Yep. That's from the original plans.
Yep.
And there's a couple of abutters here. Keith Boudreau, Boudreau's Garage, just had your hand raised. Keith, I think if you just unmute yourself and click on the little microphone.
Okay, I'm here.
And Nancy Crowley as well.
I didn't see her hand raised, Mike.
Whoever you
No,
like.
when I checked, she isn't a butter. She's on Pratt.
Whoever you'd like to take first, Mike.
I think Keith, you found the microphone button.
All right.
There.
Go ahead,
Keith?
Mr. Boudreau.
Well, maybe let's come back. I don't see. Laura, do you see any other hands raised here?
I do not.
No, are there any other applicants, anybody in the public that would like to comment on this proposal for the 20 IE / the 18 unit multifamily proposed development?
Yeah, please just do the hand raise function, and
There's a question
I see that.
from Nancy Crowley.
Where is the dumpster going to be located? How is trash going to be handled? Want to take that one, Pat?
Yep,
Or Justin?
the plan would be for them to contract with a licensed hauler and use totes, not a common dumpster.
Got it.
Where would that dumpster be located?
That's kind of a cluttered look too.
Yeah, I just saw her hand go up. James Silver had a hand up. Way to go. I lost the hand. Oh,
Yeah, but I see the name.
Yeah,
So
I
if-
mean, I don't think the applicant would be opposed either to a dumpster pad with a vinyl fence enclosure.
Okay.
Mr. Silva, can you?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi. And you had
How's
a
it
comment?
going? Yes. I was wondering about the entrance on Beach Street. That's definitely usable as an easement, right? And we provided that lady with parking.
okay.
I was wondering about the density of the units. Would adjusting them make it more or less feasible to the neighborhood?
Well, it can affect the neighborhood depending on the density. So depending on what you try to work with neighborhood character and try to keep with, I was going to say, be sensitive to butters and the construction, as well as the type of housing. Like if there's even like the dumpster enclosure, that's going to be in a location that's not going to be like against somebody else's property line, so they don't have to benefit from a dumpster being across, on the line.
Does this plan show the location of the proposed dumpster?
It does not.
Where would you think it would fit?
Probably straight in from Beach Street.
So towards the left-hand side of the property?
Correct.
Over here?
No, straight in where the hatch snow storage area is.
Right here.
Yeah.
So that dumpster has to be accessed by all of the units with totes?
No. If they had totes like your typical municipal has that you'd bring to the end of your street and the guy comes along and collects them would be one option. Or if you had a dumpster and a fenced-in enclosure, they would just carry their trash bags to the dumpster and throw them in.
So they don't have garages, right?
That's correct.
So the totes are going to be out in the...
Yeah. So probably the dumpster makes more sense.
Yeah, because where would the totes go on, like, when it is rubbish day? Where would the truck come to pick them up? Like, in the parking lot?
Yeah. Totes are out of the question, really, in the proposed development. And even with the dumpster that you propose at the end of Beach Street, can you just imagine the people that live down at the other end of the development carrying their trash way down to the other end to a dumpster? It's a haul.
Yeah, it's not that far. I think the distance around the building is...
It's not that far, but it's not convenient.
Yeah, but it's very typical to a multifamily development like this. Very typical.
Let's not be so typical.
But multi-family development isn't typical in the... Like, this is not typical in Fitchburg.
The problem that I see with this development is that it is out of character for the neighborhood, and it affects so many abutters. All around it's abutters. I'm not sure how, if you questioned any one of them, I'm not sure how they'd feel about it. I'm all for the development of the parcel, but I think it could be done in a more sensitive way. One way that I see that would be the bare minimum acceptable plan that would interest me is if you took that row of buildings and you started off with 4 units, recessing 2, eliminate a middle one, and then another 4 units recessing 2, and repeat that on the other side for a total of 16 units. That might have some merit.
Well, the 16 unit was what was previously approved.
Yeah, that might have some merit to me. Yeah. But the deciding factor for me would be, what are the units going to look like? Are they going to be exceptionally done? Are they going to be sold as condominiums, or is it going to be an apartment complex?
I mean, this was the prior plan.
Correct.
Yeah, if you took
to try to get back to that, I think we mentioned previously about the number of units and access to the recreation area and separation into like the 4 units.
Yep.
Yeah, and if you took the 2 center units of each of those and recessed them a little bit, you might have some architectural appeal thrown into it. You use some nice looking materials on the buildings, and it could be pretty decent looking.
Mm-hmm.
It's a quality of life.
Yeah, the landscaping, it's not all just the sea of pavement.
Okay. This was obviously a previous developer, and the new developer has a different vision, but, we can certainly talk with them between now and the next meeting and see if we can make some adjustments to the plan to address your concerns.
Sounds good.
Yep, that's kind of what we're looking for.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be that exact plan.
Understood. Yeah. So that plan had garages. This plan does not. And I honestly, I don't see it going back to a plan with garages. So the parking would be more conventional like it is in this design. But I think that staggering the units, if we had some relief with the zoning, the setback, which I wasn't aware of under the PUD. So if we have that relief to step the buildings, even 2 foot of step would make a big difference.
Yes, yeah.
So if we can do that, then I think that would go a long way to address your concerns.
We still want some better access to the recreation area and not have to walk.
I heard you loud and clear.
Thank you. Like that. So that being said, is there enough information of some takeaway here that we would continue it, or does the board want to act on the plan? I just put that out there, but.
Well, I think we've respectfully requested a continuance.
Okay.
I would make a motion to continue.
Right, motions are made to continue.
Second that motion.
And there is a second to that motion. We'll take a roll call on that. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say opposed. And I'm going to say Lynn.
Aye.
Alex.
Aye.
Amanda.
Aye.
Laura.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye.
Paula. Aye.
Tracy.
The
This is
special
special
permit. Yes, please participate in this.
Aye.
Thank you, Tracy. Continued.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Have a good night.
Night, thank you.
We have, our next is a special permit in site plan review for last name Blair on 7 Milk Street, constructing a single-family dwelling on existing footprint.
And I see Mr. Blair. Dan, you're unmuted if you're, ooh, it also says you're not attentive. Let me send a note.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you are. Yep, we're good.
Yes, good evening. I just applied for the special permit on Milk Street. Sorry.
You're very faint.
Maybe if I get closer.
Hear you that
is that
well.
better?
That's better.
That's
Yep.
better. Yes, I'm applying for the special permit on Milk Street to hopefully build a small single-family dwelling. I own several apartment buildings in the neighborhood, and I'm trying to just be a little closer to my investments. And it would work out perfectly for me. I've been here for about 5 years. It's been an empty foundation, kind of an eyesore. And I've taken several other properties in the neighborhood and kind of diamonds in the rough and turned them into something nice. So I was hoping to be able to do the same to this and in return kind of make the city look a little better and also help myself.
Pitches there. Sorry, go through. All right,
That's it.
that's it.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, now it's only like a 1,400 plus square foot lot.
Yes, it's very.
So even on, I know, so even on infills, we look at about 5,000 for a single family home. So it's really teeny tiny. And it seems to be, how close are you to the abutter?
It's only a few feet, maybe 3 feet. I do own the property directly behind it. I own 114 and 116 Laurel Street. Also, I own 122 Laurel Street. They're right actually behind it. So the yard behind Milk Street, that property is my property.
That's,
But that is not.
no, but the
What's that?
abutters, the direct abutters are not.
A direct abutter is not.
Right, correct. I have spoke to the neighbors. I went around to everybody, just to ask what their thoughts were, concerns. I would definitely take into consideration if they had any issues at all. They all gave me their blessing. I have a good rapport with everybody in the neighborhood. They've seen what I've done. The 6 family 122 had a pretty bad history. It had a real bad fire. I didn't own it at the time. I renovated the whole property, put a sprinkler system. I believe I dressed up this area of Fitchburg pretty well. I'm a hands-on person. This is not a property to flip or sell or anything. It's going to be my primary residence. What you see in the red outline is what I currently own.
How much parking do you have for those residences?
I have plenty of parking. I have 2 spots for everybody in my 6 family, and I have 2 for everybody in my 3, but I actually rent a few spots as well to Cross Street, the family over there, that house, number 10 Cross Street, they have no parking, so I'll actually let them use about 3 spots, but I have more than enough parking. I have parking in between 114 and 116 and 122. That's where I would currently, if anybody came, but there is a parking spot for 1 car for the single family dwelling. But I reassured all the neighbors, everybody that there would not be any issues with parking. Anybody that would come over to visit me or anything would be able to park in my parking lot. I have plenty of parking to accommodate everybody.
So that's, trying to look at the, because you didn't, in the plan, you didn't provide any parking, like layout. And what the setback is from the abutters. It's,
yeah, the parking's in front of the stairs. It's the existing foundation. There's a spot for, you could park 2 small cars front to back. Yes, right there, yes. I have it chained off. I just put a chain there for now.
yeah, there's a little jog that comes out to the right here to prevent you from driving all the way to the back. And is that jog still is there?
Yes.
In the proposed plan? So you'd only be able to fit, you'll only be able to fit the 1 vehicle?
That's correct with the existing foundation. I know you don't count front to back, but I could park 2 cars front to back in that area, regular size cars, without a problem. But I know you guys are looking more for probably side to side.
I opened it up for board for questions.
Did we have any department review?
There's several that was part of that folder, Paula.
Let me sign. There were, yep.
And Nick might have some as well. Whoop, wrong one. Oh.
Can you hear me?
You can, Nick, but hold on just a sec.
Well, I'm trying to get it open.
7, yeah.
They came in. Oh, I did do my homework.
Why does it say this? Was it opened? Oh. So I only question this only because it says 37 Duck Mill Road. Is that the but it talks about bedrooms.
Oh. Okay, sorry, the heading is off. That's a cut and paste error. The comments are pertaining to 7 Milk, so pay no attention to that 37 Mill Road.
Yeah, 7 Milk and not 7 Duck Mill.
Yeah.
I do have my comment on this is we are making a very crowded area more crowded by allowing this.
Paul Fontaine is absent this evening. He did just have a general comment. While there's no minimum lot size for the NB district, the properties directly across the street are in RC, as well as the majority of the residential properties in the immediate area, which require 5,000 square feet for a single family lot. There are many lots in the immediate area that are less than 5,000. However, based on the assessor GIS, this lot is the smallest lot. By even the design standards of the neighborhood, the property is undersized. At minimum, applicants should show evidence that there is enough room for parking entirely on the site without any part of the car being over the street or the sidewalk. Even with that may be too undersized. That was just one comment. I mean, I guess tiny houses are being, out there now, but it's whether or not the site can still accommodate that.
I don't mind tiny houses. I kind of like tiny houses.
Yeah.
But the part that bothers me about this plan is the distance of the wall to the abutter. Why would one choose to build a house that is 2 feet away from another house? It would seem to me that maybe another plan might be to take this lot that you think you want to build on and raise that foundation and use that for parking, that little lot for parking, and open up the area a little bit. You might have room on another vacant piece of your property to build a single family house. If I were the neighbor to the left, I certainly, now that structure is down and gone, and now I can breathe, I wouldn't choose to build a house so close to another one.
I understand your concerns. That's why before I even did anything, I did go and knock door to door and spoke with everybody, because if anybody had any problems, including them, because they're the closest. So just like you said, if it was me, I try to put, look at it from other people's point of view. And they told me, initially they were concerned. Their concern was the closeness, and it was more or less an issue with noise, and things like that. But after speaking with them for a little while, I didn't speak to them directly. I had a friend of mine. I don't speak Spanish. They spoke Spanish. I had a friend of mine who interpreted for me. And we went back and forth, and they came straight out and told me that they'd give me my blessing. They know me just because they've seen what I've done in my presence in the neighborhood. And like I said, I have a great rapport with everybody. I wouldn't do this if I didn't own the 3-family, the 6-family, and the other properties in the neighborhood. It just kind of puts me in a perfect location. I'm kind of looking down the road, retirement, and it would be ideal for me to be able to do it. If there was any concerns, with the fire department, I would be more than willing to do a rated wall, something in between to slow things down. If God forbid, if anything happened, I would also go as far, just like I sprinkled in my 6-family, I would sprinkle it. Excuse me, anything to make other people feel at ease with it going on. But yes, the lot is small. I understand your concerns. But for me, I'm invested in the neighborhood. I'm from Fitchburg. I'm used to close wood, like it doesn't bother me. A lot of people I know are building gigantic houses, and they're going in a different direction. That's not me. I'm kind of downsizing. I'm holding things in. I'm trying to hold on to what money I have. And for me, this would just be a perfect scenario to be able to have to take care of, because I'm hands-on. I do my plowing. I do my maintenance. If you ever go around my properties, I pick up the trash. I am hands-on, and I have dressed up those 2 properties significantly since I've been in the neighborhood. And that's my reason for being there. It's not as an investor to sell the property or to do it. Like, I plan on living there myself. I've been through a couple of divorces. Yes, I do have a couple grandkids that might come and see me from time to time, but it's not like I'm going to be rocking, huge parties on the weekends. I assure people there wouldn't be anybody parking on the street, blocking anything or anything like that. It would just be me, one car in the driveway. And if anybody wanted to come and visit me, they already know there's plenty of parking in other areas. It's just with the frontage and everything, with how things are set up, there's really no other way for me to be able to put anything like you suggested, to be able to put something somewhere else. And then having the existing foundation already there, just the footprint, for me, it just made sense for me to be able to do it just because of my investments already in the neighborhood.
So, but just be aware that the parcel, I mean, the structure would still have to stand on its own, even if it was sold later on, that they can't, wouldn't be relying on parking around the block.
Right.
For it.
I have no intentions of that. I'm in it for the long haul. I purchased properties. I don't plan on going anywhere.
So just saying that it needs to demonstrate that there's 2 parking spots off that meet some of the setback off the street requirements.
Yeah.
But also be interesting is there's no square footage on the house, and then the height of the house compared to elevations to the neighboring house. And
I'm sorry, I looked at it. I thought my architect sent it over to Mike. I asked him for that. I thought everything was
I got 850 square feet on the application.
okay, well, I'm just looking at the plan, so there's just nothing, there's no dimensions on the plan. Well, there's one here in the back. But there's no dimension on the box. Well, the height. Where is this going to sit in comparison to the neighboring house elevation?
It was going to be similar. I had the architect when he came over to look at it. He looked at the dynamics of the neighborhood, and that's what he wanted to try to build something that would fit into the neighborhood. Initially, I thought about doing just a single floor, but the way everything is laid out in the neighborhood, in the house and left, this kind of made the most sense into where it kind of blended in with everything, with its surroundings. That's why we kind of chose this design, and it's a simple house. It's a basic house for me to build. It's not anything, over elaborate that's going to cost me a fortune. It's within my means.
And the other point would be where the trash goes, receptacles.
There is room like in the backyard or off to the side. I mean, I see where the jog is on the foundation. It's not really showing, but there is definitely plenty of room for a car. There's no issues with that. And there is some room, and I do own, the backyard where the trees are right there. I plan on probably end up taking those out because one's kind of overhanging anyway, and it's overhanging the neighbor's house. So I do have the backyard to the 3-family that you can see right now in the far back. The yellow building in the back is mine.
And Paula, just taking a look at the assessor's record for number 9 next door. It's similar. Front, like 2-story with a gable on the street side. The entrance door just to the right side of the building, kind of just like this one proposed.
Well, we could take some public comment on it, but I would just say that just the site plan in and itself is a little deficient in that it's not showing the parking and the setbacks that are proposed.
Can you check again, Paula?
What's that?
The site plan? Do you mind?
Oh, this one.
It was one that was done a few years ago. Well, bless you, 2001 for a previous owner.
I believe this is all I have for the site plan.
So it's not a true site plan.
No, just here's the building elevation we're proposing to build. It's not a site plan of here's the house on the parcel with the setbacks and parking and.
Well, why don't you go back to the one that's labeled 2001 building footprint in the folder, bless you.
Thank you. Well, I'm coughing.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so the house was like right on the property line.
Yeah, yeah. and see that 1.1 foot, I think, from the other adjacent house.
0.9 or something.
Mm.
0.1. But then it's like, what's this here for parking? Depth, width. Two.
Well, the width of a car, anyway.
True, but not against the fence in the building. You still have setbacks from those two that should be met. So I guess like just and is there any public comment? Is anybody here to comment?
I didn't see.
Not noticing any hands. I know I did speak several times to an abutter on Cross Street, number 8, I believe, who just said it was the same things that we have been stated. It's a very dense area, concerned that there wouldn't be parking on the street because you really can't have any parking on the street. But
Right.
I think Dan has kind of addressed that issue.
I just want to put that out there to the board of whether or not this is even feasible to deliberate further on, or to have the applicant come back with an approved site plan, or what are their views on it, that is or isn't not potentially suitable to the site.
I don't think I don't feel comfortable that it's a suitable site. But I would be willing to give the applicant the opportunity to do a site plan.
I do agree with Laura. It's a difficult site. And I'm still really, 0.9 feet between the two buildings? That's
It says
you can really
2
squeeze
feet.
it.
I have 2 feet on.
Mike just said something about 0.9.
Right here.
Yeah, see that?
Mike, what was that 0.9 you threw out?
I think that must be at the front where Paula's little hand. That's 1.1 foot to the property line.
1.1 feet to the property line, and 0.9 at the back.
At the rear. Right.
And this is in
Neighborhood business.
so there's no side setback.
Yes, correct.
And he does have frontage.
Which is 20 feet.
He's 29.
29.
So it's 29. It's just that it's not even half the size of a 5,000 we normally look at for a single family.
Right.
Granted, in this case, it is an existing footprint, whatever that is worth. But density-wise, it's like quite compact. They would have to certainly demonstrate that you got 2 parking spaces on site that can be met adequately and not overflow the sidewalk.
Or grant relief from the 2 spaces.
Yeah, but I wouldn't. Not for a 2-bedroom single family home. It's 2 spaces. And you can't park off street here. And you can't depend, person's not going to live here forever. It's got to be at some point, someone else is going to purchase it, and it needs to stand alone and not be, parking across, around the block for the second spot. So the site has to support itself. Or maybe they have to reconfigure the housing configuration too. It's not so much on the existing foundation.
And you own the parcel. The parcel's owned behind on Laurel Street.
Yes. Yeah, there's another diagram that you showed earlier that shows the outline. Yes. Yes, that diagram. Everything that's outlined in the red is mine.
So there is one thing about, single family home, we see what we do for infill, help stabilize and offset some of the, multifamily, density, but this is dense. It's in and of itself, but. So I put this out there to the board, get some feedback, because is it worth the applicant spending time and effort to going further into the project, or?
Well, can he do like,
Generally think that no, you don't really want to, you don't think it's suitable.
can he do like an A&R kind of thing and like shrink up the red part that abuts the back of that property and pull behind like, if he owns them both, like what is that, just trees? Like, can you just extend the property and then park behind the house if you want?
Yes.
Yes, I mean, I could probably do some other things. I was trying, because of the existing foundation, I wasn't sure if I was going to be allowed to, even do anything with that. That's why everything I kind of done is being based off of what was already there, without modifying anything. The gentleman that I actually purchased the property from, he had a crane or whatever, but he modified the foundation and he did a bunch of things, and I figured that was going to be a harder sell than it was on the existing.
Let's just say that the existing foundation, there is no grandfathering of this. This is like looking at it like it's a new lot.
I understand.
Okay, so there's no, I would say advantage other than maybe some of your construction from putting a new foundation in to use the existing foundation. It's kind of like, what can you do with that site and that to make it work? It's not like you save a wall and you have to build around it. It's like, look at it fresh.
Okay.
I can honestly say I am not comfortable contributing to making this area more dense than it already is. I appreciate what the applicant's done for the area, but I'm just not comfortable with that.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, I would have to second that, again, on my concern about the density of the lot and the proximity to the house to the left and the lot line is, to me, I think one of the functions of the planning board in general is not to necessarily repeat things the way they have been in the past. Just because it was existing in the past doesn't mean we should do it again. Instead of having two houses that have a problem with a 1.1 foot space between them, we're creating two. So I don't feel comfortable with the plan on that particular foundation and that close to the house to the left.
I understand your concerns. I mean, we have different views. eyesore in the whole neighborhood, and that was my approach to it. Was I was going to take something like I've done in the past and try to make it nice. And that was my approach to it. I understand where you're coming from on the closeness to everything, but it looks terrible. It looks terrible for the city. It looks terrible for the surrounding neighbors. It looks terrible for me. I'm in the backyard to it. So I figured, hey, if this is able to be done and it would help me, like I said, I'd be close to my properties. I'm being able to manage everything and keep an eye on everything. That was my approach to this. As right now looking at it, I think that looks a lot worse than it would on that picture that we just looked at of the nice house. I think the benefits for the neighborhood, for everybody, and I showed the people and they all approved it. The neighbors like it. They would much rather see that go in than be looking at what you're looking at right now.
Okay, anybody else? Alex, Lynn?
Well, I mean, I agree with what Laura and Pete has said, and also looking at the department's report, I noticed that the fire department has a concern about emergency access, and that's due to the density, and that is a concern because if one of those houses catches fire, the one next door is going to go right up next to it. And I'm also concerned about access to utilities, especially between the two houses. And once again, that all goes back to, I'm not sure who could squeeze in that small area that would exist between the two houses. And once again, it all goes back to the density issue.
I agree with Lynn. I think the concerns with fire and the utility, they're kind of the biggest proponents for me.
I don't know if there's much to gain if you make it a little longer or larger on the parcel size and try to reconfigure the structure. But I'll just say that, so I'm just looking from the board perspective, and definitely the board has some concerns, so just put forward to the board now too, was whether or not it's like, do you feel you have enough information to vote on this? We can also give the opportunity for the applicant, if it's not heading in a positive, the direction the applicant would like it to go in, to withdraw it and continue it, to come up with a different plan. Unless you just ultimately it's just too small. It's like, unless they annex some additional parcel.
I think with the history that he has in the area, I think it'd be a good idea to give him a chance to maybe reapply with a new idea for the area, just because he does have the other parcels.
Okay. Anybody else? So thinking about something where people may propose to continue it and have if the applicant would like to make a further effort.
Yeah, I think that's up to the applicant, if that's the route he would like to go.
Yes, if there's a chance on being able to make something work that works for me and for you, I'd be more than willing to sit back down and try to see if I can reconfigure it. It's just, I mean, kind of where it is and everything, the aspects. And like you said earlier, I mean, I've already spent quite a bit of money, and everything's a chance. I know this wasn't you don't have a right to build. I understand that. That's why we're here. So I mean, if there's a chance that you guys would be willing to work with me, if I could reconfigure something, I would definitely be willing to see if I could come up with something that suits me and
okay. So some of the feedback is really, we're concerned about utility access to the neighboring house, because you see the utilities are right on that side with only having a foot.
Yes, no, I understand.
That you're not beholden to the current footprint of the structure. You could make changes there.
Okay.
We want to see a minimum of the 2 parking spaces on the lot, and with the 3-foot setback to the sidewalk, so there's no cars hanging over.
Okay, so if there was, I gotta have obviously 2 cars not on the sidewalk. I understand that the 2 cars have to be, configured on the property. I understand.
Mm-hmm. And that, I guess it's up to you to consider about, using whatever additional parcel space you may have on in order to help accommodate your site.
Yes, no, I'd be willing to do that. I just was trying not to make something kind of look out of place in the neighborhood as well. So it's just a matter of trying to get something to blend.
Right. No, I understand, because I think what you have, to the street, most of the homes have that right up to the street. So you're not looking for please push it back 15 feet or something.
I understand.
So we're looking for a motion to continue?
Unless everybody thinks that you can just park out front and put the house in the back, but then it looks like a real lot. All right.
I think I heard a motion to continue.
Yes, we do have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second to continue. All those in favor, and roll call for continuance. And opposed, we have Alin.
Aye.
Alex.
Aye.
Amanda.
Aye.
Laura.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye.
Paula. Aye. And Tracy. Aye. Right. Okay, give it another go.
Okay, thank you, board members, for your time. Appreciate it. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Okay.
You too.
Thanks, Dan. Good night.
And we have site plan review for 37 Duck Mill Road to convert a building to a building trade shop. So a change in use triggering the site plan.
And let's see, we have Jackson Delaquinto, who's on twice, it appears. And I think you recall Mr. Dumay, Arnold Dumay. A few months ago, he was before the board for a property on Weymouth Street to rehab, but that was a multi. This is a commercial building, excuse me, that was auctioned off by the city and sold. It was formerly, I'm not sure what it was formerly. You have a property card has a thumbnail photo of it. It's just a 5,000 foot rectangular concrete block building that is proposed to be used in as a building trade shop.
I think that was one of the ones that was purchased at auction.
Yes, yeah, it was auctioned. And Jackson, you you just need to unmute yourself. Let's see if I can send him a quick email to poke him.
Hello.
There you are. Yep.
How you doing,
Jackson? Okay.
I have my partner. I would like to meet him. Put him in the meeting too. Arnold.
Mm-hmm. I see him. I think he's calling in. Okay, so says he needs audio pin. So he was sent the pin number to punch in. But I don't hear him just as yet. Jackson, the plan will be up on the screen. Are you able to see it?
Yes.
Well, I just
I'm on the computer right now.
Okay.
One moment.
Jackson, can you send Mr. Dumay a text or something? It says, you there, Arnold? No, I guess not.
He's not there yet.
Okay. It says he needs to enter.
Not moved. Yeah, he's saying he can't talk. He just texted me right now. But I tried. Well, I tried talk about that. My daddy bought that, purchased that last year, an auction, and we plan to do 2 offices, one for my construction company, Preferred Builders, me and Arnold, and one for my daddy, NMR Associates. Is only for office because he have a warehouse at River Street, 150 River Street, and that's only going to be for office. And like you see in the picture is a 2 floors. The top floor is going to be a couple office, me and him, and the first floor is going to be the warehouse where I'm going to put all my tools, construction tools, remodeling and stuff like that.
I see.
Looks like you plan on doing some exterior work on the building too.
Yeah, the building is really, really bad. We're gonna paint it. We're gonna fix the blocks. I'm gonna change like you see it outside. By my van over there is gonna be the trash right there. We're gonna keep that door. We're gonna put lights in there. Is like you see, is a plenty parking, and that was going to be the office. On the left side is the door right here by the left side. That was where going to be now down there on the street here on the driveway. It's a shared driveway right here.
Yep.
Yeah. Is another door right there. We're gonna that was gonna be
Excuse me.
the warehouse, you know, where gonna be all the stuff, tools and stuff like that. But yeah, we have a bathroom there. We're gonna have to remodeling. We have a carpet to replace, painting, regular stuff, pretty much. Upgrade the electric and the plumber.
Okay. Are you doing anything to the pavement here?
Yes, we're gonna fix the paving. Yes.
Hey, Laura, can I ask you, because you can do this too. I see that Mr. Dumais, the very first name, can't be unmuted until they enter their PIN. Click to send their PIN. I think they've done that a couple of times, but can you do it as well? Maybe I'm not doing it right. I think Arnold just needs.
He
needs a PIN.
Okay. Let me see. Oh. Where do I get the pin, Mike?
I think click on the microphone.
And Mike, I just sent it for good measure as well.
Okay. Thanks.
Oh, audio pin sent.
Is the same PIN in my email? I have right here.
I don't know what the PIN is, Jackson, though. It's like automatically sent when you click a button. I don't know what the number is.
Okay.
If they're calling in, it should go to their phone.
Okay. Let me text him. He tried. Hold on, just one
That's
second.
the pin, but it goes right to listen only mode. Have the pin, but it again.
I don't know.
I just sent the PIN you guys sent to me in the email. So let's see if that works. That's the only one that I have.
He can hear us.
Yeah, definitely can hear you guys.
We tried this at a.
He can call you on his, he can call in on your phone speaker if you put him up.
Oh, that's a good idea. I use my phone actually.
Can you do that, Jackson? Because it'd probably work better if you do it than I did it with my little cell phone.
But he said he's using his own phone though to call in.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, the message says audio pin, and it gives the number not entered. So is he Can you try again?
Computer and phone on both. Well, Arnold, I can give you my cell phone, and everyone here who is listening apparently too.
Got it.
Thanks, man.
Wait, I am waiting for some DPW feedback because I believe there's this looks like part of a missing fence, but you're gonna need a fence because it's greater than 4 feet for the parking at the top of the wall.
Yep, that was the plan. We're gonna put a fence right in that section over there. And I think in the other section, the city gonna put a fence right there because that was the city the all walk thing over there. Yep.
The rail trail. So I was wondering about that here.
Right. Yep.
Because I didn't know how far up the property line, went onto the grass for your.
I think it's 5 feet, something like that.
Okay.
Yep.
And you're gonna paint the building and paint the side of the wall. It'll look good on the rail trail.
Yeah, definitely, yes.
Yeah. But actually, it looks like the better side.
I'm gonna take those signs off. We're gonna fix that roof. Take that post line out there. Yeah, make that better. Definitely.
It's just my building.
Mike, could you repeat your cell phone number? Because I didn't write it down. No.
Sure.
Mhm. And it's just this main building, it's not this building into the rear.
No,
Yes, hello.
just that one.
Hey, Arnold. Hey.
And where your truck is where you propose to put the,
Yeah, okay.
are you gonna have a dumpster?
No, it's just regular trash. Probably a dumpster, those like 4 yard or something like that. Yep. Right there, where's the truck?
Okay.
We're not gonna use the driveway. It's gonna be only Arno, me, and my daddy. So it's gonna be
Relay
cars.
questions that the board had to you and then relay the answer, okay? Okay, let's do that. Hold on a second. Paula, it's hard when you have a headset and a cell phone to your ear, too. Mr. Crowley is on my phone, so if there are particular questions, I can like relay to him and then relay his answer to you guys.
Okay. So any board member have some questions on the site? I think I just mentioned a fence above the wall, the retaining wall that would be needed.
Retaining wall. Yep.
Fence there. Of course, you mentioned yes, you're going to be painting the exterior.
Mhm.
And be repairing the pavement and probably stripe it,
Right.
parking spaces.
Mm-hmm.
Will there be new windows and doors, or are you gonna use existing?
Jackson is
I'm gonna have to fix that door in there. That was a really good door. I'm probably gonna change the window.
and, putting a fence
Okay,
along the
replace
top of
the
that
windows, okay.
retaining wall. Yes.
Yes,
Um,
definitely the window.
and fixing the pavement and striping the parking spaces. Jackson said he's going to be doing that.
Okay. Yeah, because it's like what you say, like the overhead here looks pretty bad.
Oh yeah, no, that one I'm not gonna replace. I'm
Yeah.
talking about the entrance door. The entrance door is really thick fire door. I plan to keep that one.
Entrance is going to be
No.
replaced too.
Paint does a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So
Definitely the window's gonna replace and
you fix up your safety, your railings for safety.
oh yeah, all that's gonna go. I'm gonna replace all that.
Okay. Like that. But zone industrial is for a building trade shop, so
Sure or no?
and such.
Right. What's your time frame? How long do you think? it
I gonna as soon as we're done the meeting, we're probably gonna get the permit this week or next week. I'm gonna start. Probably like 4 weeks.
Do we have any feedback from, we're just waiting for DPW, I think, feedback. I think that was on the,
It's here.
Can you guys hear me? This is Nick here.
Maybe Nick needs an audio pin now too. Criminy. Where's that?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Okay, great. I took a quick look at this proposal. I haven't had a chance to go through and put together formal comments, but similar to previous comments, I'd like to see something to protect the cars from going off that wall there. So some sort of fence or the wheel chocks for the parking lot. But beyond that, I mean, the whole site's relatively impervious as is, so there's not much change there.
so I guess we just go
right?
to the board about the,
Okay.
thank you, Nick.
Hey,
this
Jackson,
seemed like-
do you know where the property line is on the ground? Because we can't really see. In other words, how close it is to the edge of that rail trail that was recently built, paved.
They say about 5 feet, 4 to 5 feet. That's what they say. And on the other side is the shared driveway. Actually, it's a street on the other side. But that was then said. All that grass gonna be mine. That's what they said. So I'm not sure. Tell the truth.
Oh, okay. Because I'm not sure. We could check the plans for the rail trail, but there might be a fence on either side of it. I'm not sure.
If you get the fence right there in the back and on the other house right there in the back.
Yeah.
You see the fence right there?
Yeah.
If you
Right here.
get right there, they're gonna continue that one. This side, they're gonna continue all the way.
Okay.
I spoke to the guys work over there and on there, and they said they're gonna continue over there, and probably gonna have, because that's the first thing I asked them about, how far gonna be for the property. They said about 4 feet, something like that. So, okay. So that's what Dane said. So let's see.
Okay. And sorry, while I was off with Arnold, but that dumpster that is pictured, that's just for the time of you're fixing it.
Right.
That's not going to be a permanent thing.
No.
Because you don't need a dumpster associated with this building. That, like we talked on the phone, the dumpster is at the particular job site. You guys' job site, where that happens to be.
No, that dumpster is only for demolition over there, inside and everything, but it's not going to be there. No.
Yeah. Okay.
But he said he might put a small one and replace where the van is right now.
Right, 4 yards or 3 yards, yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so a question would be to the board, is that fine? Should it be enclosed, or is it just fine that you're just gonna have the smaller dumpster, green or blue or whatever color it is, up against the wall? And then is it fine for probably what would propose chain link fence? What fence would you be putting on top of the wall?
Chain link would be fine with me. What's on the roof? What is that?
That was a metal roof. What's old sign before? That's really old sign.
Oh,
We're gonna have to take it out and fix it. Yep.
So you'd like to see just with black vinyl coated fence?
Yeah, that's exactly what I pretend to do. Yes.
Great, black vinyl coated fence.
Jackson, could I ask, do you or Arnold know what was there before? I mean, the sign was for some kind of business.
Densel was a lumber, with like 1900s or whatever, is a lumber. The train line stop right there and drop all the windows and lumber, outdoors, just like Home Depot.
What was the name of that?
And yeah, and everybody buy, all the contractors over there.
Advertising.
Yeah.
Yeah, Arnold
Yeah,
was
that's
saying
right.
it's a tool and lumber shop back in the day.
Yeah. But after a 1960 something, they put a auto, not auto shop, it's an auto parts in there, industrial auto parts.
Okay.
Just like a manufacturer or whatever. Yeah. Include the guy next door, working next door. He used to work in there. That's what he said to me.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
All I have is black vinyl coated fence on the retaining wall, repair the pavement, stripe the lot. He's gonna paint the exterior and upgrade like windows and doors as necessary.
So I have a question.
I do think, because of the proximity of this property to the rail trail, and I can see that the rail trail is going to get some big use in years coming. I'd like to, if the applicant is thinking about putting an outside dumpster, on all other projects we do require an enclosure. So I really do want the property to look good, not only for the new owners, but for people that are going to be using the rail trail. So I'd like to see the dumpster be hidden in an enclosure.
Okay. We can build a wall. We can build a wall in there and roofing or whatever, and just put inside. That's fine.
Yeah, anything you can do to upgrade the looks of the property along the rail trail would be appreciated. It's a great spot, and with a little bit of work, that could be a great building.
Yeah. That's why we bought. So yeah, it's gonna be nice.
Agreed.
It's fine. All right. Do we have any public comments? Any attendee?
Raised. I don't see anyone. David Tall?
Oh, I think he is out in the industrial park near Game On.
Okay.
Does Mr. Dume have any questions or comments?
Let me see. Nope. Nope. He says he's satisfied and thanks the board.
Okay. Okay, does the board have enough information for this evening?
I think so.
All right. Like to close the is there a motion to close the hearing
Make the motion to close the public hearing.
with a
Second that?
second? Motion's been made to close the hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, all those opposed? Okay, any discussion and or motions to entertain?
Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate that. It's gonna be beautiful. You guys are gonna see it.
Right.
All right. Have a good night.
We're just about ready to vote. Let's see. Anybody like to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the site plan with conditions of the dumpster enclosure and everything else you put down.
Okay.
Second?
Motion's been made in second, and with the second, all those in favor, roll call vote, say aye. All those opposed, say opposed. We have Alex. I'm going to change it up.
Aye.
And a Lynn. I know. Oh my goodness. Laura.
Back for a second.
Laura.
Aye.
Amanda.
Aye.
Peter.
Yes. Changing it up, right?
Aye. Yes. And site plan, so no choices.
I'm just the media board.
All right, so we're good.
Okay, Arnold, you're good to go. We'll write up a decision. Okay. Thanks. Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys. Good night.
We'll see you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
We're on to our business. I can find other business. One more. We've got other items and then we've got minutes. I guess we're here. Is there someone here for a Game On update?
Oh, I think I noticed earlier in the evening, Tom Bevenzi. I don't see him now, though. I think we can. That was kind of an FYI. Peter San Germano sent a little update with some pictures, and then we've been getting these stormwater reports called SWIP reports from Dillis and Roy. Actually, they took over for the previous applicant developer. And toward the end of those SWIP reports, there's been photographs of the site, and particularly in the stormwater management done. But right, that's what we're looking for. That was sent over by Pete San Germano earlier today. All the fields are in. Those are 4 and 5, which are on the right-hand side of the entrance road as you're heading towards 5, 6, and 7.
It's massive.
It is. Does anyone know how active it is up there? I just saw something it didn't look like.
I don't.
Turf. We have
not sure what the 2 rentals are.
I mean, they've installed the sewer line in Game On Way, the flat section between the 2 ends of Victoria Lane. And I'm assuming they went up the entrance road as well. Maybe Nick knows more about that. There's been the culvert installed at the very bottom of Westminster of Game On Way. Sorry.
Mhm.
Once you pass Victoria Lane and starts going uphill, there was an old kind of almost collapsing culvert there. So that's done.
Okay. Thank you for the FYI.
Mike, I know they installed, Unitil installed their electric service to the building too, I believe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Peter had mentioned that before. They at least have it at the building. Do you know if?
Yeah.
How about water? Do you know that, Nick?
I wasn't aware that they finished the sewer connection, and I'm not sure about water, to be honest. Haven't called us for any sort of inspections or anything like that, so surprised to hear that.
I'm not sure that there's an actual connection to the building, but you can see the trench on the, let's see, the left side of the portion of Game On Way between the two ends of Victoria Lane. That's been trenched and paved over. So maybe they didn't go up the entrance road prior to putting that culvert in. Don't know.
Yeah.
But at least they got.
Yeah, I thought the only work that had been done was the electric service, which was paved over. I think Newco did that for Unitil, but I'll try to swing up there this week and see what's going on.
Okay, my bad then. I think that's right, because the electric was on one side of the street, sewer is going to be on the opposite side.
Well, Mike, doesn't it say right there, that's within the next 3 weeks, they're planning water and sewer?
Oh, okay. You know, the window with all the people names who was here was obliterating that.
Okay.
Thank you for paying attention and not watching the All-Star game.
Here we go. World Cup is over too. So there's the update for Game On. We do have other business. We have the ordinance update. If anybody had any additional comments on that, I just at the end of the day today, I just forwarded a few.
Yep. So, this is a new component, pursuant to 181.15, that new amendment piece where, essentially authorized by a supermajority planning board vote and then by unanimous consent, if a report is submitted to city council and it's accepted, we can essentially correct, table errors, Scrivener errors, photos, figures, and the like. And so when we passed the zoning changes in April, we had to stop looking at that ordinance for a while. And I think we all did, including all of you. And we knew there were a couple of mistakes here and there that we needed to resolve, but we hope to use 181.15 to do that. And so what I had submitted to the board, and I just sent it in the comments to anyone viewing this and on GoToMeeting, they're essentially pretty simple fixes, and I'll just kind of outline them. First of all of the photo diagrams that we had, I think were from like the 1980s. We updated them so they're clear and they're not pixelated. Christine Melly in my office did a great job putting those together, and really everything here. With regard to formatting, we fixed situations where numbering or lettering was out of sequence. If we skipped a number or a letter, or there was some kind of typing error, font and paragraph and pagination corrections followed along with that. And so the formatting, we just made it consistent throughout. We added hyperlinks within the document. So, if anything is referenced in the document, you can now click on, if it's referencing section 181.27, you can click on that reference and it takes you to that section. So people don't have to page back and forth.
Yeah,
the table of contents were updated and any incorrect references were updated. And then two sort of ones that were a little bit, I guess, worth noting in their own right because they're a little bit different. The floodplain protection overlay district mistakenly was moved into section 181.79 in the last group that was, passed by the council, but that was just a mistake because we were trying to get the numbers to line up. It really should have been in the section 181.8, which is where overlay districts live. So that was a mistake. And then there was one section that was flagged, and actually, Paula, since you have the ordinance up, I was hoping you could just pull this up real quick. 181.3355.
No, I should just go here, right? There we go. No matches.
Or if you just do 335.
Okay. There you go.
Great. So there was a whole section, thank you. This section here was actually at the end of, originally it was not here. It was at the end of the list that starts at 181.3351. And I'm going to explain, it's going to be kind of dry, but I'm going to explain why that's important. So at the end of 335, it says the following circumstances shall not be deemed to increase the nonconforming nature of said structure. And then it lists all the items that would not be deemed to increase the nonconforming nature. But this last thing, this was the last item on the list that was highlighted here. And I'm just going to read it out loud. In the event that the building commissioner determines that the nonconforming nature of such structure would be increased by the proposed reconstruction, extension, alteration, or change, the Board of Appeals may, by special permit, allow such reconstruction, extension, alteration, or change where it determines that the proposed modification will not substantially be more detrimental than the existing nonconforming structure to the neighborhood. So when added to a list that says these circumstances shall not be deemed to increase the nonconforming nature, it's confusing because it actually, what this is saying is the building commissioner determined that it would be increased and you need a special permit. This is, the only one that, Mark Barbadoro had posed this as something to be used through this section. One could argue maybe it's a little bit more, moving this from the end of that list back into this paragraph is a little bit more than a minor change, but I think it just clarifies the ordinance. But it's confusing to read if you are trying to avail yourself of 181.335, but I'll defer to you all if you think that's appropriate. And I can pause there and then talk about the rest of it if that's helpful.
I think we could, with whatever, any comment on that? Yes, I believe it's appropriate because it's just about clarifying it. It's not just even changing the language, it's just moving it to probably the more appropriate location. And that was per also the building commissioner. For interpretation, easy, clarify interpretation.
Right. I know that's not a particularly exciting section to review at 9:20 in the evening, but the whole goal of this new section of the ordinance was that if we can make minor clarifications that are not of substance, then it's passed through this simplified format. And I don't think anything proposed here in any way changes the substance. Even this being moved, it was already interpreted as such by the building commissioner. It's just moving into a section where it's clearer for the reader.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Paula, you had noted, in addition to all the changes that are included in the red line copy, you had noted a series of changes this evening. And I will say I reviewed all of those, and I don't know if you have them in the email in a written form. Right, great. So 181.3213, this is a section that lists all the acceptable accessory uses and then describes what they are. And for home occupation, it just says, see section 181.77. But that reference changed. And so Paul is right, it should be 181.78. And then the next one, 181.817. it says add the date of adoption of the provision. And actually, you all now appreciate why it's important to add this date because this is the water resource protection overlay. And so this also doesn't change anything because what this section states is, you know, you need to remain in the same record ownership as of the adoption of this section. You know, without the date being in there, somebody would just call up the building commissioner and say, well, when was this date adopted? Or, you know, when was this section adopted? And Commissioner Barbadoro would have to do his research. Adding the date just clarifies for the user that, okay, this section was adopted September 21st, 2005. So the ownership at that date is critical for purposes of this ordinance. And then Paula, you had listed the other ones. I checked and double checked. Those are all issues where, you know, you had noted there's formatting concerns. I'm not seeing any of those come across on my document and I actually have it pulled up on 2 computers to confirm. So okay. I'm not sure if it's a matter of like the way you're looking at it on your, like sometimes you look at those in a browser as opposed to in the.
Oh, I was looking at it right here. So what number was that? That was, geez, I just went over it, didn't I? Where's my email? Hold on. It was, I said page 39.
Okay.
Right there. I just opened it up in Word, sorry. Scrolling. Well, I'm glad the published version won't have it. It was just like, why is this here? Because I saw it was in both versions. See, it's right here, like on top of it.
Okay.
I wasn't sure about why that was occurring.
Yeah, and so that's 514 design standards.
Yeah. So just double check on the final version on that is all.
Yep. We'll do. And how about this? We just read for the record what those 3 sections are because they're just matters of making sure that they don't look sloppy. And I will just confirm on the final document that they conform.
Yep.
Okay.
181.517 heading.
Okay.
Mush to the side. Same thing with 181.52 heading.
Okay.
Right here. Earth removal, though, all the references in earth removal say ZBA. So the table of principal uses is planning board. Now remember that got changed because it was planning on being ZBA, and then at the last minute it was like, no, it'll be planning board. So all the language throughout 691 mentions ZBA quite a bit.
Right. So the change was made once we got to the use table. So then everything else should have changed retroactively.
Correct. So the use table is correct.
Right.
It says planning board, but the language in the section talks about ZBA getting a permit. So that's all the references should be changed to planning board or board.
Yep. And then the spacing.
That's it.
On page 116 is referenced. And again, those things don't show that way on mine. And I'm going to go back in my office computer and look at it again to confirm.
Okay. Because I looked at both, they had both versions up. Like you had working and clean version. Actually, yeah. The clean and
that's very strange. But I'll check to confirm those.
So that's all.
But, once we're all done here, I think we can kind of put our pencils down for a while and we've got a really great ordinance to work with. And this vote would just make sure the formatting and the consistency lines up with all the votes that were taken by the planning board and the council.
I appreciate all the work that went into it because it's when the numbers got pushed off, particularly like there's a confusion between variances and special permits, like not reflecting the correct citations. So that was a big thing to go through the whole document and correct those.
Okay, that's it, folks.
All right, so we're looking for the board to make a formal recommendation or a vote. to move this forward?
Correct. It needs to pass through supermajority vote.
I'll make a recommendation to approve the updated zoning ordinance.
Yep, minor updates. All right, motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second that motion?
Second, and let's take a roll call vote on that. Ellen, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ellen, Alex,
Aye.
Amanda,
Aye.
Laura,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Paula, aye. Supermajority.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
A lot of
Tom.
hard work into that. And we have minutes. Get there. One more up. Minutes. Slowly it opens. All right. So the minutes from March 9th, when I started to re-go over them, I would believe we had already approved those, and Mike confirmed it.
Yep, you did.
So that's one less.
That's good because I don't remember.
From March, I know, right? Here's April 13th. So many things open. All right, April 13th. Does anybody have comments on page 1? Or page 2?
No.
Page 3.
Oh, they would.
Go ahead.
I forget. I think it's the next month.
Okay, so page 4. Oh, here's the big one. This has to do with the Amazon site. So Paul had forwarded over to Mike right at the end with here's all the conditions, things we talked about. So I cut and pasted them in there, all the things in yellow. There was also a section of like in consultation with DPW, the traffic study recommended like removal of vegetation, a couple of intersections and driveways, warning signs, recommended a stop sign. And then we had some general comments of exploring alternatives to improve the safety of the bridge, work with DPW.
Mm-hmm.
And then whether or not you want to include it as a condition, but it was still recommended to, work with the DPW to improve pedestrian and traffic safety along Intervale Road, which we talk about some sidewalk, signage, bridge, and pavement improvements as they progress, things progress, or as needed.
Right.
Those. So that was added. What else? I was missing one here.
We added Amanda.
And I think that's it. All I had for comments. And I don't know, Mike, if you we've checked with Amazon on all of the condition pieces.
They'll be satisfied. They want to be there.
So make a motion to approve the April minutes.
All right. April 13th, motion's made, and is there a second? As amended?
Second?
I'll
There's a
second.
second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay. So I'm good with that. Move on to the next one. Oh, my God, stop spinning around. 6-1, and then we have 6-8.
Want a drink?
Open up. June 1st. We have minutes. Comment on page 1 or 2. This was Dunkin' Donuts. DPW recommending no left turns out of sight onto John Fitch Highway, pretty much right in, right out only. We're just clarifying. Ms. Karen looking for a traffic impact study. This was mentioned up, but it was stuck in the text after someone else's comment, so I just separated it.
Okay.
And just noting that the proposed configuration increases traffic exiting onto John Fitch versus Lunenburg Street exit. That's why we're looking for a traffic study as well. This was just a correction. Word provide, I think it was prove. And this on Highland Ave was just mentioning that for all those units, it was about 10 bedrooms, which has since been withdrawn, but just to clarify. What's in that? 4 units in the second, I think it's a 6. Wait a minute, 6 unit. I mean, you meant bedrooms here, didn't you? Like to convert to a first floor with, I forgot now. I know it's 10 bedrooms, so like 4 and 6, but it was how many units? It wasn't into 10 units.
No, it was bedrooms.
Okay. So
That's where the 6 and 4 come from, right?
yeah, so that should be bedrooms. Right?
Yeah, okay.
That's something like that.
We'll catch that.
Okay. Anybody else have any comments for updates on the June 1st minutes? Okay. Hearing none, the motion?
To approve the June 1st minutes as amended.
All right. Is there a second? And a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? None. Okay. Last set coming up. There we go. We have minutes from our June 8th. Just clarifying, item deferred, but there was no site plan provided then. Which one was this? This is Columbus. So address department comments raised, including sidewalk improvements along Woodland, black cast aluminum fence at the corner of Columbus and Clarendon, and adding the curb stops in the parking lot in the rear.
Right. Okay.
The next one was the Seabo Market. Provide landscaping strip at the corner and extending up Chestnut Street as well as along Main Street frontage. Clarify. Add one-way signage at E9 and exit. Upgrade fence along the top of the wall. It's not black vinyl slats, it's back vinyl coated. Employee parking to be at the top lot. Repave and stripe the parking lot. I don't know if anybody have any clarifications. This was city storage. There was some X's on about the size of the lot, so I think I filled it in right. I went off the card that was 0.766 and then calculated back to the square feet.
Yeah, okay. Okay, thank you.
So you might want to check that.
Yeah, I will. It'll be on the assessors map.
Several members I put commented instead of agreed. 7-unit proposal and setback, and set the number of units 7 and the setbacks. predominantly abutting the RA. Concerns mentioned over narrow width of road, potential on-street parking issues, considered 2 to 3 single lots with setbacks to match building district. Mention that. There was just some typo corrections with Beach Street. Just to clarify whether or not who said it in here, like, oh, wait a minute, it's like Mr. That too. Access to open space areas needs to be revisited and addressed.
Mm-hmm.
And on their other big game on, Ms. Cushing on Victoria Lane about no notice given to area residents about the street being blocked off, but that was for utility improvements. It wasn't game on blocking off the street. That was Unitil.
Right.
Yeah, but just to clarify. That's all I have. Does anybody have any comments for the minutes?
There was, you're gonna kill me, but there was 1 month, I think it was the Amazon was in it, and I think it had the square footage of the new building wrong.
Which one?
The Amazon?
It was in Amazon.
Let
I
me
didn't
see.
this, but I did in the
So the last set?
possibly, and I believe it was, well, it may be correct. I think it was like 78,000, and didn't they say 98,000? So I could be confused.
Well, they cut that. They cut that back. It was like 300,000. Then
No, I'm looking at what Laura's referring to on the bottom of page 3 of the 413 minutes. Yeah, I put down build a new 78,000. And you're right, Paul. Laura, I think it was 98. But I'll double check. It was just under 100. I'll double check. We have the exact figure.
okay. Let's make a motion on the June 8th, and then we can go back to April for the correction.
Sorry.
It's
I'll
okay.
make a motion to approve the June 8th minutes as amended.
Second
There's
that
a-
motion?
In a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And all those opposed? Okay. So those passed. Now we're going to go back. Laura mentioned to the April. Now forward these on to Mike. You said April 13th?
April 13th, bottom of page 3. You're just starting the Amazon discussion. Very last line.
I don't know why this is taking so long to open.
It's tired of the rain.
I was like, come on, I have open. It's like, this is not it. There it is. On page 3?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right there. See, it says new 78,000. Yeah, that should be 88, but I'll double check the figure.
All right.
For some reason, I
We want to make, well, as amended, approve as amended. Make another motion on April 13th to approve as amended.
Well, April 13th, make a motion to approve the April 13th minutes as amended. And Mike's gonna verify and amend again.
Yeah. And there a second?
Second.
In a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay.
And there is a May 11th out there, which I guess was not in that folder, but we will wait for next month for that one. But those are done too.
So if there is anything else, comments from the board underneath after our minutes, any other communications or their business? I'm going to be away the first week of August.
Okay.
I'm going to be back just in time, I think, for the meeting. And hopefully I'll be back either Saturday or Sunday, so I won't see the materials till the last minute. I'm gonna be away from the 30th.
Good
Paula, I'm sorry. One item that was on the agenda as well, as we've been trying to plan both, FATV, which I know is recording this evening's meeting, but also at the mayor's office, just thinking about, utilizing the legislative building and all of our, various public meeting locations. It's just been raised a few times as to whether or not the planning board had plans to return to in-person meetings or if they'd like to remain virtual for the time being. The governor's extended the ability for us to continue to hold virtual public hearings, but I just wanted to throw that out there and I guess get the board's thoughts at the moment.
Yeah, I know the board really we didn't have a good time to discuss it and Paul's not here.
Okay.
But even if like tonight, we'd be competing with some of that space. I just have a question. Concern about like hybrid because I'll just say I'm used to having materials electronically. Now I don't have a laptop to bring.
Yeah.
And about this hybrid presentation, like to be able to use a laptop and project that onto the screen as well as project that onto whatever platform we'll be using for hybrid.
Okay. That's
how do you make that work? Do we use Chromebooks? I mean,
right.
How do we do that? I don't think like a video of, here's a projection on the wall and we're going to capture that on cable.
No.
The hybrid, way of participation for people. I still would like people to be able to call in.
Right.
And participate remotely, even if we're meeting physically.
So, yeah, and I didn't think it's probably not appropriate to start in August anyway, because this is just the time of year where everyone's always out and about. So I think this is part of a continued conversation I'd like to have in August as well. But I do know that the legislative building, as well as the North Room on the third floor of City Hall, have been equipped to handle hybrid meetings. I'm not sure we could, provide everyone with a laptop, but I'm sure as the chair of the board, that's something that could be arranged as you're kind of doing the presenting and sharing screens and whatnot. And I can check in on that, and certainly as to sort of what hybrid participation will look like. It's a priority of the mayor's office. We just wrapped up our reopening task force. That was one of the recommendations that task force provided to the mayor's office, was to allow for continued hybrid participation for, businesses and family. I think I swallowed a fly. But yeah.
I don't know why.
Oh,
yeah. Anyhow, got the gist of that.
Yeah. So I'm not opposed to go to meeting in person, but like you mentioned, summer's kind of tough. It might be even, helpful to board members to be able to still call in and participate.
Right.
And then I do have my reservation. I have concerns about how do we continue like on that hybrid participation points and, display of the materials and obtaining the materials. Cause it's like, if I go without having all the materials, I'll be in paper and just getting them at the last minute. If not.
Right. And I'll have some answers for you all in the August meeting, sort of logistically what that will look like.
This is Alex. I kind of want to point out too, I kind of tend to agree. I think this format has been a little more effective for us versus, while I miss seeing everybody face to face, I don't want anybody to take it personal. I think we've done a more effective and better job through the go-to meeting format that we've been doing.
Yeah, I mean, I like the plans, like to be able to see, everybody can see it. Cause it's like previously it was like throw it on a stand in front of the audience who can't even see it. And half the board members can't even see it. And they're trying to show us what's going on site plans. And it's like that. And even doing a presentation, like to flip through and then you can even zoom in, it's just like, that's nice.
Well, even if the board meets in person and the applicant is in person, where in whatever venue, they could still participate, on their laptop and be able to draw on the plan, highlight, zoom in, that doesn't preclude that kind of.
And thankfully, we're not in the basement of the fire department anymore. Whether we be on the third floor of City Hall or at the Legislative Building, we're going to have new technological capabilities to be able to do, I think, the hybrid approach, and hopefully have the best of both worlds. I'm sure it'll be messy at first, just like this was when we first got started.
Yeah.
But I don't think we need to rush into things, but it's just something I think for us to start thinking about.
It's also in how, and I'll put this out there too, our members feel comfortable about it too. I mean, not everybody is vaccinated, you know, and then who might be coming into the room who may or may not be at this point. You know, how do you you can't really enforce it for applicants to say, like, just please wear a mask. You are with the, and then we have the whole variant scenario playing out.
Yeah, true.
So, you know, we're just wondering whether or not, you know, has it stabilized or is it going to get worse again? Or
We'll be going back indoors during the flu season.
yeah.
Then logistically, I was just wondering, because I know the zoning board meets on Tuesday nights. You usually have city council or some formation of a committee of city council on Tuesday nights. So would there be room for potentially 3 meetings at the same time going on?
Well, would there be room, or would there be would folks be okay with meeting on not a Tuesday, like a Wednesday? Wednesdays more wide open.
Paul doesn't like that.
Yeah, I remember we kind of keep going back to that with Paul. Paul's like, nah, it can't be done.
I think
Not
it's
available Wednesday.
whether it's the planning board, the ZBA, or the finance committee, I think we've got to kind of pull folks together to sort of think about, you know, whether it's a discussion about logistically, how do we fit in this building or in the legislative building. There's also a very practical question about 2 land use bodies meeting at the exact same time. And we don't know what the ZBA is doing. The ZBA doesn't really know what we're doing. And I think it puts us in silos that I'm not sure is always helpful. So there's that element of it as well. But, you know, that's certainly a broader discussion. And Alin, to answer your question today, I don't think we would have had room because we had over 40 people in attendance. I don't know about the ZBA, but the finance committee was meeting to talk about the Crocker School, which I'm sure would have been a packed meeting. So we're going to have to figure something out on that end too. And that is partially why I kind of want to get a sense of where the board is, so we can start having those conversations. And I certainly don't want to rush people past their comfort level. More than anything, just want to let you know when you're ready to have that conversation. You know, I'll be sort of serving as a liaison with the mayor's office and various other boards and commissions to make sure we're utilizing our spaces effectively. I know that was a big concern of the planning board when City Hall work was being done, that you guys had use of the legislative building. So I certainly am advocating for that. Just we need to know when we're going to move there, and then we can start figuring that stuff out.
Okay.
Anybody else like to mention how they've presently? You don't have to talk about it tonight. Just it was an opportunity.
I'm comfortable with in person, and I'm comfortable with this too.
Okay.
But I don't mind going.
Same for me. If we were to go indoors, I would be wearing a mask. I'm not trying to offend anyone, but I probably would. My comfort level is I'm going to do things, but mostly outdoors still. But obviously it's what everyone's comfortable with. If we were to go in person, I would be there. I'd be wearing a mask. If we continue to do this, I would still be here. So regardless, I will, continue to report.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see advantages to both formats. So either way, it doesn't matter. I'm good with both.
Yeah, either way for me too. I'm comfortable.
Okay.
I'm fine with either way also. Although I've grown accustomed to this particular format because I can go to the meeting very quickly.
Yeah, it is quite an advantage to that. It's actually even like right now, I don't have to drive, like run out of the office at like 4 o'clock and drive, and then
And I can get
More
snacks.
time to eat
and water.
supper. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, have supper and, get the last minute updates and things and.
And Governor Baker extended the remote public meeting provision until April 1st, 2022, just so you're all aware of sort of that's the deadline. And so again, I'm happy to work with you all within your comfort level, and when you all feel the time is right, work with the mayor's office to coordinate accordingly. But I don't want to rush anyone into this.
Oh, and Tom, I want to thank you as well for passing along like dates to the down work between the what's going to start in August for Boulder Drive and Main Street.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so Tom did pass along links for that.
Nice presentation, Tom.
Oh, thanks. And happy to talk about that in more detail with the board if you all want to at the August meeting.
Okay. Yeah, I need more time. I'm going to take a look at it. Things are happening, but but there's so many things happening now between bridge closures and street closures and a lot of activity happening. I'd like to see some of those buildings constructed. That would be great.
Well, Hopper Furniture, they're really working on that one.
Yeah, that's going really well.
Yeah.
What about North? I mean, the North Snow. Yeah, Snow North Day Street. That would be the next one, maybe.
Folks may have seen that Bill's shopping that out to investors right now.
Okay.
And which is, I mean, that's what he did with Harper, right? But it took time. So I wouldn't anticipate things happening necessarily as quickly as we may have heard in previous public meetings about those projects.
Okay.
Yeah, both of them packaged together, right? Day in Maine and then Snow
Correct.
State.
Correct.
All right.
Okay.
Great. Anything else other than that? People have some great summertime weather. I hope will either not be too hot, not be too rainy, and to be just right.
I won't be at the August meetings. I'm on vacation that week.
Okay.
So no,
Is there anybody else who might not be at the August meeting?
What's the date?
Tuesday the 10th.
Tuesday the 10th.
The 10th, okay.
I'll be at the August one, but just a reminder, I won't be at the September one.
Okay,
Okay, noted.
got it.
Thank you.
All right. Well, is there a motion to?
Make a motion to close the meeting.
Yes, motion's been made. End with a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.